Greyhounds finished 7-1, as you said, Kevin, going up against Lafayette Harrison. Their total regular season stats, they had 1,711 yards rushing to their opponent's 720 yards rushing. Passing, the Greyhounds had 1,081 yards passing to their opponent's 778 yards passing. Total offensive yards for the regular season for the Greyhounds was 2,792. They allowed their opponents 1,498 yards total offense. Total time of possession for the Greyhounds in the regular season was 2 hours and 11 minutes and 33 seconds. Individual stats for the season, Shannon Polk finished with 917 yards on 131 carries. Mark Ross's backup had 234 yards on 46 carries. Your fullback, Jeff Whaling, had 145 yards on 19 carries. Travis Meek was 53 of 88 for 906 yards passing. Receiving, Josh Trissler had 462 yards on 24 receptions. John Serra had 274 yards on 16 receptions. The tight end, Aaron Peening, had 223 yards on 13 receptions. Shannon Polk also had 34 yards on 4 receptions. So that's your season or regular season stats for the Greyhounds.
And with that, I will run over the starting lineup for your Greyhounds. They've remained pretty much the same all season long. At left tackle will be Scott Kaminsky. Left guard, Grant Eccles. At center, John Cotton. Adam Butt will be the right guard. And Brent Sandquist will be at right tackle. Aaron Peening will start at tight end, but John Pertelli will see a lot of time in this ball game. Shannon Polk will start at tailback. Jeff Whaling will be in front of him in the eye. Travis Mink is always starting at quarterback. The two wideouts will be Josh Trissler and John Serra, but look for Josh Feldman and Jeremy Barrett as the game progresses. Defensively, for your Greyhounds, they will be shaping up something like this. At left end will be Billy Brown. Ernie Munez will be at the left tackle spot. At nose guard will be Todd Wright. B.J. Hammer will be at right tackle. And Mike Wagner will be at right end. The cornerbacks for your Greyhounds will be Sam Morris on the left and Chad Whitlock on the other side of him. Joe Kohler and Eric Hedegaard make up the linebackers. At free safety will be Nick Olson. The strong safety will be Ben Hoagland.
For Lafayette Harrison Raiders on offense, their quarterback will be Pat Coletta. Their tight end is Josh Whitman. Left tackle, Stephen Jared. Left guard, Andy Nielsen. Center, Nathan Lynch. Right guard, Marcus Wagner. Right tackle, Brian Singleton. Split end, Andy Bridge. Flanker, Ryan Bain. Fullback, Mike Cox. Tailback, Adam Tesh. And the quarterback, Pat Coletta. On the defensive side of the ball for the Raiders, left end will be Josh Whitman. Left tackle, Nick Swethwood. Nose tackle, Mike Cox. Right tackle, Eddie Kelly. Right end, Brent Bunch. Linebacker, Aaron Snyder. Cornerback, Brent Richardson. Safety, Ryan Bain. Their other safety, Tyler Gibb. And the other cornerback will be Kyle Oakley. Doing the kicking duties will be Brian Yuntz, and Adam Tesh will punt.
So Carmel has taken the field. Lafayette Harrison has yet to take the field. We're about a minute away from kickoff, as Lafayette Harrison has got to come out strong and score first, I think, to try to beat this Carmel team. Carmel not dressing as many tonight for this playoff game, but they're still quite intimidating with all those blue and gold helmets. There's probably about 90 or 100 of them strong. So Carmel always a intimidation factor just by the sheer size of their team.
The other MIC matchups tonight, North Central will be at Pike. Indianapolis Manual will be at Ben Davis. Lawrence North will be at Muncie Central. Warren Central will be at Lawrence Central. And Center Grove will be at Decatur Central. The MIC Conference Finals for the regular season, Ben Davis came in first. Carmel in second. North Central third. Warren Central fourth. Lawrence North fifth. And Center Grove sixth. So Carmel finishing second, a good placing for the first ever MIC Conference.
Yeah, and last week Carmel really got beat by a better team. Ben Davis was tough. Carmel, to beat that team, I think, would have to just click on all cylinders and capitalize on a few mistakes to Ben Davis, but it just didn't work out for the Greyhounds. But like I said, that should give them some experience, I guess, against tough competition, which you'll see in the playoffs. Lafayette Harrison is a very tough team, and their quarterback is Pat Coletti, the son of Purdue head coach over in Lafayette. So he's quite an athlete. And they should also look out for Josh Whitman, their tight end.
During our halftime show, you'll want to stick around. Stay tuned. We'll have an interview with Coach Jim Belton for you to listen to regarding the regular season and Lafayette Harrison. Teams have come out to the center field for the coin toss. They're running a little bit late, maybe a minute. So we'll just stick with us, bringing the game here in about a minute.
Well, the Greyhounds going into the sectional matchup. Obviously, that's you got to keep winning to stay alive. They haven't won a state championship since 1989 in football. They've got to be hungry. That's been quite a long stretch, at least in Belden's tenure, for lack of a state championship. Carmel has had 2 semi-state teams the past 2 years, but they've just been beaten by more athletic teams, I would say, the past 2 years that were just too tough for them. So Carmel has a lot of new players, a lot of new starters from last year, new team, and hopefully they can come in and take this Greyhound team to state.
Carmel won the toss. They chose to defer. Lafayette Harrison chose to receive. That's the same situation that happened last week against Ben Davis. So Lafayette Harrison's offense will come onto the field first against Carmel's defense, and then start the second half. Carmel's offense will come out first, and that could be kind of interesting depending on what the score is at half.
So with that, we're going to take a 60-second booster break, and we'll come back with the kickoff of this ball game.
Our thanks go out to the following Greyhound boosters: the Kevin and Melanie Tolliver family, Mike, Vicki, Matt, and Allison Tribal, John and Jody Zucker, Dick and Linda Vance and daughters, Paul and Karen Vaughn, Mark, Janet, Brian, Lisa, and Jimmy Wade, Glenn, Rose, Scott, and Kurt Wallach, Denny and Cheryl Walters, Linda and Dave Warder, Helen J. Ward, grandmother of Mandy Miller, Nicholas Watson, Robert Watt, Gary, Kathy, Brian, and Kevin Webb, Bill, Carol, Mark, and Matthew Wedgehorst, C. Dennis Wegner, the Whaling family, Chuck, Jane, Libby, and Tori Weinkoff. If you'd like to be a Greyhound booster, please send your check or money order for $25 to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032, and your name will be added to this list.
Hello, this is Kevin Rust alongside Derek Hardy, bringing you the opening kickoff. Emery Sievert is on the field. This is the first sectional matchup, pitting the Greyhounds against the Harrison Raiders. Sievert gets the official signal and gives the ball a boot from the 40. It's a low line drive kick. It bounces at the 20. The play's blown dead. Penalty flags down. Probably going to be offsides on Carmel.
So if it is, Carmel hurt early with a penalty. You don't like to see that. We're not sure of the call yet. We don't want to speculate. We'll wait for the official signal.
Carmel's devastated by penalties last week. There was a lot of personal fouls going on both sides, though. And Ben Davis also racked up a lot of penalty yards, so it kind of canceled each other out, if you will. And it is offsides in the Greyhounds, so that'll move them back to the 35, where Emery Sievert will kick this ball again. The Harrison deep men are standing about the 10-yard line. Back deep for them is Bryant Richardson and Meyer. And Sievert kicks the ball away. This is a good kick, nice and high. It's going to send Bryant back to the end zone. That's a touchback. Free the Raiders out to the 20. Sievert got all of that ball.
Sievert continuing the way he kicked in the second half of the Ben Davis game. He did that twice. So a good kick by Sievert will put Harrison at the 20-yard line to start off this game.
So Pat Coletti comes out, try to lead his Raiders offensive unit to an opening score. So first down and 10. The ball's on the 20-yard line. This is Lafayette's first possession. Two wideouts there, split slot back, comes in motion to the left. I formation. But he takes the snap, fakes the handoff, looks left. He's under some pressure, breaks two tackles, rolls up to the 20. He's going to run with it, picks up about 4 yards around the left end.
Carmel playing a 4-3 defense that time and brought the two Mike and Sam backers, the two outside in the 4-3 linebackers set up right behind the defensive ends and brought them in that time, applying the pressure to Coletta, the quarterback for Harrison.
So the Raiders come to the line of scrimmage. Again, an I formation in the form of Tesh and Cox. Two wideouts right side, another one left side. They take the snap, three-step drop, quick slant, through behind his intended receiver, tight end Josh Whitman. The pass is incomplete.
Whitman looked outside, that pass was thrown, looked inside rather than the pass was thrown outside. A little bit of confusion there between quarterback and tight end. Good coverage, though, by the Carmel linebackers. They jumped him right away when he came over the middle.
3rd and 4 from the Harrison's 24-yard line. Back Letty comes to the line of scrimmage, split back formation. Slot back left side, another wide out left side. He barks out the signals. Takes the snap. Quick throw out into the flat. Nothing doing there. Ryan Bain caught the ball and ran forward for about a yard, bringing up 4th down and 5 from the 25-yard line.
Good job on that play. Carmel's corners and outside backers reacting to the throw out into the flat, and Carmel's defense right off the bat playing well with a 3-and-out.
So now into punt. Lafayette Harrison. It's going to be Adam Tesh. Polk back deep. Snap is good. The kick is away. It lands at about the 50-yard line. Takes a Raiders bounce to the 45 and back to about the 47-yard line of Carmel, where they will take over on downs.
So Carmel with excellent field position provided by the defense. That's the way to start it off. Go 3-and-out and then give your offense excellent field position. Carmel with a great opportunity here early in the ball game. 10:40 left in the first quarter.
And no score. As Carmel will get its first chance of the ball game on offense. They send Tristler out left side, Sarah right side. I formation. Meek sets the line of scrimmage with Peening the tight end on the left side. Fratelli on the right. Meek hands the ball to Polk. Polk off tackle. He's at the 45, 40. Cut back move. He's in the open field. He's at the 30, 25, the 20, where he's finally ridden out of bounds. That'll be 1st down Carmel. Huge offensive play.
A 33-yard gain for the Greyhounds right off the bat from Shannon Polk. That time, good block by Jeff Whaling, as well as the left side of Carmel's line and Scott Kaminsky, Grant Eccles. Jeff Whaling came right through the backfield, lead blocking, and took out the left side linebacker of the Harrison team.
Polk cut that one back all the way to the right side. They're going to spot at the 21-yard line now of the Raiders. Get an I formation. Sarah right side, Trista left side, double tight end set. Mink gets under center. Takes the pitch, gives it to Whaling up the middle, and he's going to fall forward for 2 on the play, bringing it up to about the 18-yard line, and 2nd and 8.
Good job by Harrison's team there, hitting him a couple times. Whaling with a couple yards there. Tough yards, though, for Jeff Whaling.
Well, they're going to call it 2nd down and 7 now. Picked up 3 on the play. Feldman and Barrett in the game. They come out right side. Peening's on the right side as a tight end. Split back formation. Peening now comes in motion to the left. Now he's in an I formation. Feldman comes in motion from the right to the left. Meek gives the ball to Polk. Polk tries to go around to the right side. He's cut back at the line of scrimmage. So no gain on that play. It'll make it 3rd down and 7.
He was hit by linebacker for Harrison, Aaron Snyder. Aaron Snyder doing a good job filling the gap there, making a good hit on Polk, not allowing him to bounce out. So after that big 33-yard run by Shannon Polk, the Greyhounds are faced with a 3rd down from Harrison's 19-yard line.
Trista left side, Sarah right side, I formation. Double tight end set again.
How good are you?
Meek takes the handoff, rolls out left side. He's looking downfield. He throws downfield to Tristler, who was open in the end zone, but he was just overthrown. And we'll bring up 4th down and 7.
Boy, Tristler was open. He was going right for the corner of the end zone on a deep post pattern, just throwing too much outside for Tristler. Not a bad throw, just overled him a little bit.
So let's see what Carmel elects to do on this 4th down and 7. Ball's on the Raiders' 18-yard line. They need to get to the 11-yard line. Carmel's going to go for it. Split back set. Sarah left side, Trissler right side. Again, a double tight end formation. They'll check that. Peeney the only tight end right side. Meeks drops back to pass. Looks right side. Hit as he's thrown. As he overthrew Peeney. Peeney wanted a penalty flag for interference. Nothing called, so the Raiders will take over on downs.
Hit by the right defensive end, Brent Bunch, which forced him to throw that pass a little high.
So the Greyhounds defensive unit comes back out into the field very quickly. After they forced the Raiders to a 3-and-out. 9:03 mark, no score. Ball's on the 18-yard line of the Raiders. They have 2 wideouts right side in I formation. Coletti sets with a tight end left side. He takes the snap, looks right, throws out into the flat. He's at the 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 down the right side of the field before Eric Hedegaard pulls him down at Carmel's 45-yard line.
Good speed shown by Eric Hedegaard chasing him down. Andy Bridge, the split end on that side, threw a heck of a block, sealing that one inside for the Carmel's containment, allowing that throw in the flat to go for as many yards as it did.
That was Ryan Bain on that reception. 35-yard pickup. So now the Raiders at Carmel's 47-yard line with 2 wideouts left side, I formation. Coletti takes the snap. Now he throws out in the flat again to Bain. Bain brings it up near the 40-yard line.
Chad Whitlock reacting to that pass that time. That's the 3rd time we've seen him throw in the flat twice in a row. Whitlock not fooled that time.
2nd down and 5 now.
Harrison now with 37 yards passing.
They come to the line of scrimmage with 2 wideouts, I formation. Tight end right side in the form of Josh Whitman. Handoff up the middle. There. Tailback Adam Tesh falls forward for a pickup of 1 on the play. That's going to make it 3rd down and 4.
Both teams have 1 first down apiece. Neither of the teams have converted. Well, I'm sorry, Harrison did have converted on 3rd down attempts so far.
So 3rd and 3, they're going to call it. 1 man in the backfield, slot back left side. He comes in motion to the right. Split wide outs. Coletti drops back, throws over the middle to a wide open tight end, and Olsen catches the ball on his knees at the 25-yard line. Interception for Nick Olsen. That's his first on the season. As Josh Whitman was wide open in the middle of the field, Olsen had slipped in the middle because after a season of play, this middle of the field is torn up, and Olsen just happened to be in the right spot at the right time. The ball fell right into his lap.
Olsen, the free safety, as you said, Coletta threw that one a little high, and Olsen, back in coverage as a free safety, was right there to take advantage of it.
That's the 2nd time we've seen Whitman have the back to the ball when it was thrown to him. He had one thrown behind him earlier in the ball game when he was trying to block someone downfield. Carmel comes to the line with 2 wideouts left side, split back formation. He fakes several handoffs and then gives it off to Polk at the 30 around the right end, down at the 35-yard line. That's the 1st down Greyhounds, pickup of 11 on that play.
Scott Kaminsky, the left tackle, was pulling on the play, as well as Grant Eccles, the left guard, really applied a good hole for Carmel. That's what it's designed to do when you pull your whole left side, and it did a good job that time for Carmel.
So the ball's at the 35-yard line of the Greyhounds. They're left side, Trisler right side. I formation. Union sets as the tight end on the right. Meek pitches to Polk. Polk slips at the 30-yard line and then falls down at the 34-yard line, and Polk was hit when he was on his knees. The crowd wanted a flag, but nothing called, as Polk was hit obviously late.
So a loss of 2 yards for the Greyhounds on that play. That hurts them. But they still have 45 yards rushing, as really the rushing game was their bread and butter all season long, and it's coming through in this first quarter.
No score, under 7 minutes left in the first quarter. Trisler right side, Sarah left side. Split back formation. The ball's on the 32-yard line, 2nd and 13. Meek throws to Sarah on the quick slant. Sarah catches the ball and falls forward to the 40-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and 5.
Sarah and Tristler, they're two go-to receivers, and they like to hit them over the middle on slants, as we've seen all season. That time, picking up about 7 yards on the play.
So 3rd down and 5 now facing the Greyhounds. Their ball is on their own 40-yard line. It's a long 5. They need to get just beyond the 45 as the ball's on their 40. Split back formation. Split wideouts. Meek throws to Sarah again right in the flat, the 45. Sarah held on to that ball, and he was laid out on his back, and he gets right up, hands the ball to the official, 1st down Greyhounds.
Kylie Oakley, the cornerback for Lafayette Harrison, that's the same play 2 times in a row, and he was ready for that one. Sarah did a great job of holding on to that. Right when he caught it, Oakley flattened him, as you said.
That was one of the meanest hits I've seen all season, except for maybe the hits Ben Davis's quarterback threw last week on some of Carmel's secondary, knocking some of them straight on their back. In an I formation, double tight end set, one wide out right side. They're showing a corner blitz. Meek takes the snap, hands the ball off to Polk. Polk falls forward to the 50-yard line. He just jumped over his offensive line and landed at the 50.
Yeah, Shannon Polk looked like he was diving into an end zone that time, had to jump over him to get the yardage. Carmel with 45 rushing yards so far, compared to 12 passing, so they're definitely going to the running game. And on the other side, Harrison with 37-6 in favor on the passing side of the ball.
So 2nd and 5, the ball's on the 50-yard line. 5 minutes and 15 seconds left in the first quarter. There is no score. I formation, wide out right side in the form of Tristler. Meek gives the ball to Polk. Polk tries to go on the left end. He's cut down behind the line of scrimmage at the 49-yard line. That'll bring up 3rd down and 6.
On that play, Chris Stewart and Adam Butt, the right side of the line, pulled, and that time they just couldn't get it done as they did two plays ago when Shannon Polk pulled and got that 11-yard gain.
So this will bring up now 3rd down and 7, they're going to say, as we're now under 4. There's about 4.5 minutes left in the first quarter. Again, no one has scored here. Carmel comes to the line. The 4 wideout set, Feldman, Baird, Sarah, and Tristler. Whaling's the only man in the backfield. Meeks drops straight back, looks right side, goes out of the pocket to the right, throws downfield to Tristler at the 30. Tristler makes the catch, makes a spin move at the 25, breaks 2 tackles, and then drags the tackler up to the 20. Now they're going to roll him down at the 22-yard line. 1st down Greyhounds.
About a 30-yard gain on that pass play. Meek had excellent protection. Congratulations to the Carmel line on that play. They did a heck of a job protecting him.
So Carmel now sends in several substitutes.
That's Carmel's first 3rd down conversion of the game. Their 3rd first down.
As Foss comes out left side, Tristler right side, I formation. Meek sets, barks out the signals. Hands the ball to Polk. Polk right up the middle on the delay. He's going to get close to the 20-yard line, but not much further than that. Pickup of 2 on that.
With that 30-yard pass, Carmel now has 42 yards passing. They kind of a balanced attack, 47 rushing and 42 passing with 3:27 left in this first quarter.
2nd and 8 from the 21-yard line. Here Greyhounds, they are in Raider territory. Split wide outside formation. Meek rolls out left side. He might run with this ball. He's at the 25 and the 20. 15. Makes it up to the 10-yard line. He had a foot out of bounds, and he got laid out right on his back. An excellent hit there applied by Ryan Bain, a defensive back for the Raiders.
He's going to be about 3 or 4 yards short, but a heck of a gutsy run as he did take 2 straight hits, one to the leg and then one to the top by 2 Harrison defenders. So good gutsy running for Meek. You like to see that. And they are going to call a 1st down.
So the ball's on the 12-yard line. So the Greyhounds will now realistically have 8 chances to get in the end zone as they can get a 1st down if they make it to the 2-yard line. As Polk and Whaling are in the eye, Tristler's right side. Patelli left side is a tight end. Feeney right side. Now it's a split back formation. Meek pitches the ball to Polk. Polk around the left end at the 10. He gets around the corner. 5. He's in the 2-yard line. Touch. No, I thought the official just signaled for a touchdown. Going to blow the play dead at the 1-yard line. So first down Greyhounds now from the 1. Bringing up first and goal.
Good job by the left side of Carmel's line. Scott Kaminsky and Grant Eccles and a host of other Carmel blockers. They really sealed that one off. He had a lot of room until the safety came up and stopped him that time. So Carmel threatening for the first time with just under 3 minutes left. This drive has taken 4 minutes, and they'd really like to see something out of this.
Let's see if Carmel elects to go with this full house backfield. Now they're going to line up in an offset wishbone with Polk, the deep man. They do give the ball to Polk. Polk tries to go off the left guard, jumps over the line and gets in for the touchdown. That makes it 6-0 Greyhounds at the 2:51 mark. A 1-yard run by Shannon Polk to give the Greyhounds the lead.
Carmel ran the ball that time 7 times and passed it 3 times, covering about 4 minutes and 5 seconds of this first quarter, leaving 2:51 left. Greyhounds an excellent touchdown drive.
Alonzo on to attempt the point after. Keening's a long snapper. Blake's his holder. Alonzo's had an excellent season kicking. The hold is good, and the kick is up and through the uprights. That makes it 7-0 Greyhounds. As Emory Sievert will come out of the field to kick this ball away to Lafayette Harrison.
On that drive for Carmel, it was a 69-yard drive for Carmel. It was 12 plays, 7 of those being running, 4 of those, or 5 of those rather, being passing. Carmel now with 68 yards passing and 42 yards running have put Harrison down by 7.
So Sievert set to kick the ball away. The deep man is Greg Lyons. He's standing at the 5-yard line, and he has 2 upbacks at the 10. As Emory has the ball teed at the 40. And he kicks the ball away. It's a nice, long, high kick, about 5 yards deep in the end zone. Another touchback for Emory Sievert.
So now Lafayette Harrison will have a chance, starting at their own 20-yard line, to come from that 7-point deficit that the Carmel put on them. A long, sustained drive by the Carmel Greyhounds, leaving them 2 minutes, 51 seconds in the first quarter to do it by. Lafayette Harrison has 37 yards passing and 6 yards rushing.
So Coletti comes to the line. There's an I formation behind him and 2 wideouts on the right side. Bain comes in motion from the right to the left. Coletti takes a snap, gives it fakes it to his fullback, and fakes a pitch, goes up to the 25-yard line, bringing up 2nd down and 5 on the quarterback keeper.
Fooled Carmel's defense a little bit on that quarterback keeper, a little trickery right away. I saw a couple Carmel defenders jump right to it, and allowing Coletti to get outside on that play for the 4-yard gain.
Coletti faked to his fullback, Mike Cox, and had me fooled. It was an excellent fake. As he now comes to the line of scrimmage, stretching out his right shoulder. Split back formation. 2 wideouts right side. They give the ball in the reverse to Adam Tesh. Tesh at the 30, and he's knocked down at the 33-yard line. That'll be first down Raiders.
Tesh, the tailback, they did a little bit of a misdirection. They handed off left, or right rather, to their fullback, and they gave it to Tesh on the left side, and he had a big hole to run through and did a good job that time. Carmel finally bring him down before he could get any more, but it is a first down, as you said, for Harrison.
Just under 2 minutes left now in the first quarter of play. Your Greyhounds lead 7-0. Raiders have possession of the ball on their 33-yard line. They have 3 wideouts, 2 on the right. I formation in the form of Cox and Tesh. Coletti gives the ball to Tesh. Tesh up the middle, gets stacked up by 5 Carmel defensive players and knocks him back for maybe a loss of a half a yard on that play. It'll be 3rd down and 11.
So after running the ball for 11 straight yards, they try to run it again, and Carmel stops them that time. So a good job of Carmel's defense recognizing that Harrison was starting to run it quite frequently on this drive and stopping him that time for a 2-yard loss.
Harrison comes to the line of scrimmage. Seems to be a bit of confusion as Coletti gets it squared away with his wide receivers. And now they're going to go ahead and call a timeout. So with that timeout, your score is 7-0. A minute 12 left in the first quarter. Your Greyhounds lead. We'll take a 60-second booster break. That's 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Our thanks go out to the following Greyhound boosters: Brian and Martha McFarland, Russ, Tish, Adam, Kyle, and Grant McFerrin, Fred, Cindy, Matt, and Greg McGuire, Mr. and Mrs. Owen B. Melton, Jr., Harold and Doral Mercer and family, Judith L. Meyer, Keith, Suzanne, and Amy Flowers, Patricia Flowers, Randy, Becky, Jennifer, and Krista Foster, Don and Linda Folk, Bud and Debbie Friedhold, Albert, Eileen, Amy, Ashley, Albert, and Andrew Fritz, John and Deborah Gangstad, Denise and Leslie Gardner, David and Maria Geese, Nick and Pam Gilbert, Dwayne, Diane, Andy, Danny, Jonathan, and Jim Gilchrist. If you would like to be a Greyhound booster, please send your check or money order for $25 to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032.
Hello and welcome back to the final minute and 12 seconds of the first quarter, where your Greyhounds lead 7-0. Lafayette Harrison has a second down and 10 from their own 33-yard line. They're going to give it a reverse. Baird around to the left side at the 30. Gets cut down by Hammond. Check that, make that Brian Bain, not Carmel's wideout Baird, on the carry. But regardless of loss of 5 yards, they gave that ball to Adam Tesh. Tesh handed it to Bain, and Bain got dropped by 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Good job by right tackle B.J. Hammer staying at home on that play, not biting for the fake, and then reverse coming around. He did a good job staying at home. He didn't fall for it and stopping the reverse for a 5-yard loss. Good heads-up play for B.J. Hammer.
So one backfield set, 2 slot backs, wide out left side. Man comes in motion from the left to the right. Coletti drops back, rolls right side. He's under a lot of pressure, and he goes down from Todd Wright and Billy Brown down at the 20-yard line. Huge sack by the Greyhounds.
Todd Wright and Billy Brown, the left in for Carmel. Todd Wright's a nose tackle. Carmel not bringing anything special on that play, just really a 4-man rush, able to get to Coletti and sack him. Bring up a 4th down and long for the Harrison Raiders.
4th down and 24 now, facing Harrison, with 15.9 seconds left in the first quarter of play. As there's another timeout in the field, so with this timeout, we'll take a 60-second booster break. That's 60 seconds where your Greyhounds lead 7-0.
Our thanks go out to the following Greyhound boosters: the Buzz Wisiger family, Beth, Pat, Aaron, and Ashley Welch, Mike, Sue, Jeff, Brian, and Leslie Wells, the Wendell family, Ray and Linda Weslowski, TJ and Sherry White, Jerry and Katie Whitlock, Tom and Mary Whitmore, Bill, Linda, Ben, and Nathan Wilhelm, Dr. and Mrs. David C. Williams, Fran Williamson, Tony Willis, Chris and Frank Wilson, Steve and Sharon Wilson, Ray and Randy Wilson and family, Mark and Nancy Winsky, John and Nancy Wolf, Val and Hugh Wolf, Bruce and Jackie Wolf and family, Larry and Carolyn Woodling, Dave, Sue, Matt, Jay, and Laura Woods, Sam and Sharon Yao, Ying and Susan Yee, the Yallis family, Wayne and Ginny Ziegler. If you'd like to be a Greyhound booster, send your check to 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032, and your name will be added to this list.
Hello and welcome back to Greyhound Stadium, where Shannon Polk fielded upon at the 50 and took it back up to the Raiders' 40-yard line. Greyhounds lead 7-0. Under 10 seconds now left in the first quarter of play.
So for the second time, Carmel will start with good field position. Previously, they had it at the 47-yard line 2 drives ago, and now they're starting at Harrison's own 40.
So it's an I formation with Polk and Whaling. Baird left side, Trissler right side. Beating tight end on the right. Meek on the option play. Can't get the ball to Polk, and he's brought down at the 45-yard line, loss of 5.
Brought down on the play by the defensive lineman of Harrison. Did a good job of penetration, driving in there and breaking up the option play of Carmel.
They call it a loss of 6 now as the ball spotted at the 46-yard line. as there's another timeout.
And with that timeout, we'll go ahead and mention that CHTV Channel 21 is required to pay a TV rights fee to the IHSAA in order to broadcast any playoff game. Anyone interested in underwriting this fee to make the tape delayed broadcast possible should contact the Carmel High School Broadcast Department.
So with that, well, apparently that was just the end of the first quarter. Not another timeout, rather, so Carmel will switch ends of the field.
So at the end of the first quarter, your Carmels have the only score. Score is 7-0. Carmel with a 69-yard touchdown drive midway through the first quarter with a lot of running and good passing mixed in.
That's what Carmel needs to do. A nice long sustained drive. They did hit that one big play to Trissler. And Shannon Polk really hasn't been contained at all this game. We saw him struggle against Ben Davis.
You mentioned that big play at Trissler. That was a 30-yard reception by Josh Trissler. Carmel rushing the ball for 62 yards and then running it for 42. So as you did say, it is a balanced attack in this first half.
Trissler comes to the right side, Sarah to the left, split back formation. Second down and 15, penalty flags go down before the snap. It's going to be a dead ball foul. And Harrison thinks the penalty's on Carmel, and it is. And the ball's moved back now to Carmel's 49-yard line, offsides Greyhounds. That's got to hurt when you're already facing the 2nd and 15, now to make it 2nd down and 20.
That's the second penalty on the Greyhounds in this first half. They have 10 yards in penalties. Not killing them yet, but you certainly hope to see that corrected.
So Carmel now with one wide out right side. Double tight end formation on the 2nd and 21, I formation as well. And he takes a snap, fumbles the snap. Whaling picks it up at the 40-yard line, tries to run with it, gets knocked back down at the 38-yard line. Make that Aaron Peening on the fumble recovery.
Good job by Aaron Peening. Heads up play. I think that ball bounced right into his hand. Sometimes they can take awkward bounces on the turf, or on the grass, rather, and that time it bounced right into Peening's hand, so Carmel was lucky. Carmel, with one third down conversion, have a long way to go on this one.
Third down and 31 facing the Greyhounds. Sarah and Trissler right side. This is the formation where Trissler lines up directly behind Sarah. And it's an I backfield. Meek gives the ball to Polk on the delay. Polk at the 40, makes a move up to the 45, makes one man miss at the 50, runs over two people, knocked down at the Raiders 45. So Carmel may elect to go for this here. It's only going to be 4th down and 5, in Harrison's territory.
Good play calling for Carmel, not doing anything risky like passing it, forcing interception in Harrison's territory. Shannon Polk was able to get a good gain and set Weintraut in closer for the punt.
Weintraut kicks the ball away and lands about the 20-yard line, takes a Raider bounce, gets over some of Carmel's players. They let it roll up to the 28-yard line, where it will finally be down. 11-17 mark here to go in the first half of action, where your Greyhounds lead 7-0. As Coletta comes onto the field to try to mount a drive against this very stingy Greyhound defense.
You mentioned the stinginess of the Greyhounds defense. They have held Lafayette Harrison to 48 yards in the first quarter, and now a little ways into the second.
So wide out right side. I set. Another wide out on the left side. A lot of movement. They set a tight end from the left to the right. Coletta finally gets this ball snapped, pitches it to his tailback, Tesh. Tesh goes off right tackle. He's going to pick up maybe 2 on the play, bringing it up to the 25-yard line.
B.J. Hammer, the right tackle that time, made the tackle. He had initial penetration on the right side, then he worked his way to the left side. A good job by B.J. Hammer in on the tackle.
So 2nd down and 8 now, facing your Greyhounds, or rather facing the Raiders, as they have 2 wideouts on the left. Split pack formation, tight end right side. Coletta gives the ball to his fullback on the delay, Mike Cox. Cox is brought down at the 20-yard line. 3 yards before they even got to the line of scrimmage.
That's the second running play in a row that we've seen Carmel's defensive line making the tackles, and you like to see your defensive line playing well, not allowing the running game of Harrison to get into your linebacking core.
So they spotted at the 21 now, bringing up second down and a long 11, or rather third down and a long 11. Official timeout now, and there's some confusion on the field. One of the officials has a head in the huddle of the Raiders. I think it was an equipment timeout there.
Carmel's defense, we were talking about how good their defense is playing so far, has held Harrison to 11 yards rushing. So, and that Carmel's been able to do that all year long, rush well and hold their opponent's rushing game to low, with the exception of last week's matchup against Ben Davis.
So still an official timeout now. 10:15 left in the first half of action, where Greyhounds lead 7-0. Third down and 12 for Lafayette Harrison.
Lafayette Harrison has 2 first downs in the first half, although they have not converted on third down yet.
Getting the ball to 21-yard line of the Raiders. They send a wide out right side in the form of Bain. Bridges out to the left side. Split back formation. Now Bain comes in motion to the left as a slot back. Coletta rolls out right side under a lot of pressure. Throws downfield to his tight end. Whitman makes the completion at the 35-yard line. First down Raiders. I don't even think that ball was intended for him. I think Coletta wanted to go further downfield to Bain.
That's the third time he's throwing to his tight end, and the first time he's hit him, all 3 times have been high, but that time a good catch by their tight end, able to bring that one down. That's Josh Whitman, their tight end.
So the ball is spotted at the 36, first and 10. The Raiders move the chains now. And a wide out left side, and a slot back right side. An eye backfield again. Bain comes in motion from the right to the left. Coletta rolls out left side, throws to Bain in the open field. Bain can't hold on to the ball as he was led just a little bit too far. Got 2 hands on it, but slipped through his fingertips. So that'll make it second down and 10.
Carmel's coverage was playing a little bit deep that time, and Harrison's receiver, the pattern was called for Harrison's receiver to cut outside on a short 5 and out pattern, and they were able, he was open, but Coletta was not able to hit him that time.
So again, second down and 10 now from the Raiders' 36-yard line. 2 wideouts left side. In a split backfield. Coletta rolls out right side. He's under some pressure from Hammer. Gets rid of the ball to his fullback Cox. Cox at the 40-yard line. He's brought down. Pick up a 5 on the play. It'll bring up third down and 5.
Good job of Carmel reacting to that pass play. A fullback release from Harrison. Coletta was pressured. He did a good job of finding that fullback, cutting across the middle about 2 yards past the line of scrimmage. And then in turn, Carmel's defense did a good job stopping him for only a 3-yard gain after the catch.
9 minutes left in the half. Greyhounds up 7-0. Lafayette Harrison Raiders are moving though. Ball's on their own 40-yard line. Third down and 5. I formation, 2 wideouts left side, or rather right side. 1 wideout left side. Coletta, 3-step drop, throws right on the right side and the quick slant to Bain. Bain was underthrown. That'll bring up fourth down and 5. Excellent coverage on the play by Sam Morris.
Coletta now 5 for 7 passing. They have 49 passing yards in the first half. That time, as you said, though, just threw it short. We've seen him throw it short 2 times on that drive.
So Lafayette's going to elect to punt. Adam Tesh, their tailback, will also come in to punt. He's standing at his 25-yard line, boots the ball away, pressure free. It's a high end-over-end kick. It's going to land at Carmel's 40-yard line. Takes the bounce up to the 41-yard line and back to the 40 where it's finally down. It'll be first and 10 Greyhounds from their 40.
Greyhounds are good, again, with good defense in the first half. They've had, good defense. They have had good defense. I meant to say good yardage in the first half, starting in good field position. This is the second time they've started at the 40 in the first half. They've also started at the 47.
So Trizzer comes out right side. Peening, tight end on the right as well. Barrett, or rather, Bertelli on the left. Split backfield. Make under center. Takes the snap, hands the ball to Polk. Polk at the 40. Ball forward to the 41-yard line. Make that the 42, pickup of 2.
Polk that time was just really nowhere to go, as Harrison's team reacted to the run quickly, able to make the tackle. Several Harrison Raiders in on the tackle that time.
Excellent team defense by the Raiders. They have been able to stop Carmel's big plays, though, as Sarah's on the right, Trissler's on the left. I formation. He takes the snap, fakes the handoff twice, rolls out right side. He looks like he's going to run with it at the 40, 45, 50, 45. Gets a block from Sarah down at the 40-yard line. Excellent blocking downfield by the Greyhounds.
20-yard gain for Meek on the scramble. Great job by Travis Meek. That's the second time we've seen him scramble in the first half, and he's taken hits both times.
And Sarah, though, with an excellent block downfield, sealing off that outside corner, as well as going to be spotted at the Raiders' 41-yard line. First down, Greyhounds.
With that scramble, Carmel has now 100 rushing yards in the first half.
So 4 wideouts in the ball game. Feldman and Trissler on the right side. Baird and Sarah on the left. Polk's the only man in the backfield. He takes a snap, gives the ball to Polk. Polk left side, makes his cutback move across the middle of the field. He's down at the 35-yard line. Pick up a 5 on the play.
Brought down by Brian Young, the right defensive tackle, going downfield to make the tackle on Polk that time. Polk initially was hit at the line of scrimmage and bounced right to the middle of the field and got a good 5-6 yard pickup that time.
So Carmel came out there with 4 wideouts and ran the ball as they come to the line of scrimmage with a double tight end set. Trissler left side I formation. Safety blitz is shown. Meek gives the ball to Peening around that end at the 30. He's wide open at the 25, 20. Nobody can catch him. 10, 5, and he leans into the end zone. No, at the half-yard line. He just got caught from behind. Nobody was in front of him. One of the Raiders closed on him so quickly and came out of nowhere. Peening even had a blocker out in front of him.
What a play by Carmel. Good play calling. I mean, great running by Aaron Peening. He broke 2 potential tackles that time. He got down to the 1-yard line. He gave it a dive, but just came up short.
We saw Ben Davis use that play successfully on several occasions against Carmel, maybe stealing one of their tricks as Carmel comes to the line of scrimmage again in an I formation with Whaling on the right side of Ricketson. Not quite a wishbone as Polk gets the call and leaps into the end zone. That's going to make it 13-0 at the 16, or rather the 6:17 mark in the first half.
That was a 5-minute drive for Carmel, covering 60 yards for your Greyhounds. A 5-minute, 60-yard drive really takes a lot of time off the clock. That's Carmel's 13th points of the game. Shannon Polk diving over from 1 yard out for the second time, but set up by that great run by Aaron Peening.
So Kyle Lonzo now will come on to attempt the extra point against his holder, Nick Blake. Long snapping, Aaron Peening. Snap is a bit low. Blake gets it on the tee, though, and Lonzo gives it a boot and sends it over the scoreboard. That'll make it 14-0 Greyhounds with 6 minutes and 17 seconds left in the first half of action.
6 minutes, 17 seconds left in the first half.
As the Greyhounds marched right down the field, that tight end around play, I guess if you will, from Peening, gave Carmel a 1st and goal from the 1, and Shannon Polk did the rest.
Carmel has had the ball 4 times in the first half. They have scored twice. So being very efficient with 140 yards rushing and 42 yards passing. The rushing game is the standout, again, as it has been for most of the regular season, carrying into the playoffs tonight.
Sievert has had 2 touchbacks on his 2 kickoffs this game. This is the best I've seen him kick all season.
Sievert really coming into his own, kicking well.
And Sievert gives it a boot. Nice high kick right down the middle of the field. Lands at the 1 this time. Taken up at the 10-yard line. Brought up to the left side to 15, where he's knocked down by Sam Morris, right where he stands. So the Raiders will start with their worst field position of the ball game.
Yeah, the Raiders will have 6 minutes and 12 seconds left in the first half from their own 17-yard line to try and get some points on the board, as Carmel has a goose egg on for them. Carmel has 14 points to Lafayette Harrison 0.
Lafayette now to the line with a wide out left side, another one right side. I formation. A lot of movement on both lines as the tight end comes in motion to the right side from the left. Coletta drops straight back, looks downfield, throws over the middle to his tight end who's wide open, and Coletta overthrew his intended receiver, Josh Whitman.
You mentioned the shifting for Carmel. They had a 5-2 put in, and they dropped back Wagner, the right defensive end, back into linebacker coverage and put Joe Kohler up on the line on the left side behind Billy Brown, the left end. And again, overthrown by Coletta as he's thrown to that tight end at least 4 times in the first half and hit him once or twice.
Lafayette breaks their huddle. 2 wideouts right side. Bain and Grumpelman on the right. They're going to hand the ball off to the tailback who goes up the middle for a pickup of about 4 on the play. That was Kyle Oakley on the carry.
Brought down by Todd Wright, or I'm sorry, Ernie Muniz, Joe Kohler, and Todd Wright that time.
Check that, make that Adam Tesh on the carry.
Adam Tesh with that 3 yards makes Lafayette Harrison's rushing total so far 14 yards. So Carmel defense doing well in the first half against the running game.
3rd and 7. Their 19-yard line. 2 wideouts right side. Split back formation. Tight end on the right. Make that the left. As Coletta gets the snap, and I think he let that play clock go dead, and he did. So that'll push the Raiders back even further when they're already facing a 3rd down and 7.
That's the first penalty against Harrison, and it'll march him back 5 yards.
3rd down and 12 now.
That didn't help their cause out any. They're going to have a 3rd down anyways. Back them up 5 yards. Makes it that much easier for the Carmel defense.
3rd and 12 from their own 14-yard line as the Raiders again have 2 wideouts on the right side, a slot back on the left. I formation. They fake several handoffs. Coletta rolls out right side. He throws way downfield to Bain. Bain completes the ball, makes the catch at the 50, 40, 30. No one is in front of him. 20, 10, 5. He high steps it into the end zone. Touchdown, Raiders.
Morrison holding on the coverage there. Bain was able to break both tackles. A good pass by Coletta, right on target, as Morris dived to try and block that one down, and it barely got into Coletta's hands, and then was able to break the tackle of Van Hoagland. So Lafayette Harrison, with a quick strike, is on the board with 5:07 left in the first half.
Once Bain caught that ball, he was a step and a half ahead of the 2 defensive backs for the Greyhounds, and there was no one on the Greyhound side of the field, as he literally high-stepped it into the end zone. So in to attempt the extra point for the Raiders will be Brian Yance. The 5:07 mark. Kick is up and good. That makes it 14-7. Like I said, the 5:07 mark of this first half of play.
That was a 70-yard pass reception for a TD by Harrison. Those kind of big plays can hurt you. Harrison now on the board, as we said, and now have 119 yards with that 70 yards off the pass play from Coletta to Bain.
And Coletta threw that ball 45 yards, threw it from the 5 to the 50, and it was a strike. It was right on the money.
You're right, it was right on the money, as Morris was diving for that one, almost got a finger on it, and Coletta put it right over the shoulder. A nice pass by Coletta.
So now Polk goes back deep to return the Raiders kickoff. Again, just over 5 minutes left in the first half. Carmel has more than enough time to try to amount a touchdown drive here, as Polk is going to be standing about the 12-yard line. Martin to the left of him and Sayers to the right of Polk. They're both staying about the 20.
The kicker for Harrison setting up on the right hash. Young setting the ball up over on the right hash instead of in the middle. Maybe accounting for some wind.
I think that's David Bay kicking off. Low line drive kick. Martin fields at the 20, 25. Cuts back to the right side of the field. 30, 35, 40. He's got some room to run at the 45 before he's brought down at the 47-yard line.
Carmel has had excellent field position all night long, and they're going to get it again. With 5 minutes left, they can add some more points to the board with this excellent field position.
Carmel needs to go 53 yards in 5 minutes of play left in the first half. That's more than enough time for Travis Meek and this high-octane offensive unit. It's an I formation, Trissler and Sarah. Left side, Sarah's more of a slot on that left. Meek takes a snap, fakes the ball to Sarah on the right end. He drops back to pass, throws left long to Trissler. Trissler jumping and catching the ball at the 15-yard line. First down, Greyhounds. A leaping grab by Trissler.
Kyle Oakley, the DB for Harrison, looked to have that one blocked. What a catch by Trissler. He jumped up in the air and took that one almost away from Oakley. I can't believe it. That was a heck of a throw. A fake reverse for Carmel and down the field for Trissler. So Carmel reacts to the 70-yard touchdown pass, throwing their own deep ball.
So Meek matches Coletta's throw, or nearly matches, as it's going to be 1st and 10 from the Raiders' 14-yard line. They get an eye set. Foss, the only wideout right side. 2 tight ends in the ball game. Meek takes a snap, hands it off to Polk. Polk left side spin move, picks up 5 on the play, down at the 10-yard line. 4 minutes, 20 seconds now left in the first half of action.
Carmel now has 72 yards passing and 144 yards rushing, so putting up a lot of yardage on the offensive side of the ball in this first half, and both sides throwing big plays. That's been the key in this first half.
So Sarah now on the right. He's the only wide out. Split back formation this time in the form of Whaling and Polk. Carmel throws to Sarah on the slant. Sarah gets hit as he touches the ball, and he was thrown over his head. He couldn't hang on to the ball. The pass lands harmlessly in the end zone, incomplete. That'll bring up 3rd down and 7.
Good job by the corner of Lafayette Harrison of timing the ball when it got there and hitting Sarah right as the ball touched his hands and knocking that one free. Good corner play by Harrison.
3rd down and 7 from the Raiders' 11-yard line. Now just under 4 minutes left in the first half. Sarah Trissler right side, I formation. And he gets the ball, takes several handoffs, rolls out right side. He looks like he might run with the ball, makes a pump fake at the 10, dives forward to the 5-yard line. Makes that the 6. He's close to a first down. He's going to be about 1.5 yards shy.
About a 5-yard gain for Meek. That's the 3rd time he's run it, 3rd or 4th time. And every time he's run it, he's taken a shot. So real brave running by Meek, gaining 5 yards on that play.
Travis Meek is 6'2", though, and 185 pounds. So he's not a small quarterback by any stretch of the imagination. As it's 4th down and 1, Carmel wants to think this over with 3 minutes and 46 seconds left in the first half. They lead 14-7 over the Lafayette Harrison Raiders. And with this, we'll take a 60-second booster break. That's 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Our thanks go out to the following Greyhound boosters: Mike and Jerry Glascott, Larry and Nancy Glaze, Larry L. and Donna K. Gleason, Gerald K. Goldsmith, Mr. Greg Gossard, the David Grass family, Mike and Cindy Griffin, Sharon Grimm, Janet Gildenbecker, Hans and Linda Gunderson, Herb and Barb Gutterman, Mr. and Mrs. Bill Guyton, Mark and Marilyn Haig and family, David and Susan Haas, Mary Ellen Hayner, Phil and Candy Hagan, Mr. and Mrs. David F. Hakala, Gary and Victoria Haley, Mr. and Mrs. David Halverson, Bill, Barb, BJ and Blair Hammer, George Hanasono, Dave and Julie Handel. If you would like to be a Greyhound booster, send your check for $25 to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032, and your name will be added to this list.
Hello and welcome back to Carmel Stadium. This is Kevin Rust alongside Derek Harding, where the Greyhounds lead 14-7 over the Lafayette Harrison Raiders. They have a 4th down and 2 facing them from the Raiders' 6-yard line. It's an I formation. Whaling comes in motion to the left, now makes it a offset wishbone. He pitches the ball to Polk. Polk tries to find some running room around that left end, and he gets the first down and very close to a touchdown. He's inside the 1-yard line.
Good blocking by Carmel's line, but also Shannon Polk fending off tacklers that time. really running it well, able to get it up to the 1 yard line for Carmel.
Cox on the tackle. First and goal for Carmel.
So first and goal now, as the clock runs it with 3 minutes and 30 seconds now remaining in the first half.
A reminder, stick with us at halftime. We'll have first half stats and an interview with Coach Belton.
Then first and goal from the 1. Full house backfield, Roth, Hedegaard, and Polk. From the right to the left in that order. He takes a snap, gives it to Hedegaard. Hedegaard dives over the right guard. Touchdown, Greyhounds. That makes it 20-7. It's a 3-minute and 12-second mark of the first half.
So Carmel on 5 possessions has scored 3 times, being very efficient. 150 yards rushing and 77 yards passing.
Kyle Alonso on to attempt the extra point. He's been perfect today. 2 for 2. As Peening, again doing the long snapping. Blake is his holder. Snap from Peening is a good one. The hold is good. The kick is up, and it splits the upright. That'll make it 21-7 Greyhounds.
3 minutes, 12 seconds left in the first half.
A reminder, CHTV Channel 21 is required to pay a TV rights fee to the IHSAA in order to broadcast any playoff game. Anyone interested in underwriting this fee to make the tape delayed broadcast possible should contact the Carmel High School Broadcast Department.
So Emery Sievert now, who's had 2 touchbacks and a kick he put to the 1 yard line. We'll tee it up at the 40. Carmel's kick coverage. Carmel's special teams in general has been outstanding all season long.
And if you look at it, Carmel had excellent field position on the 3 drives that they've scored off of, and with Sievert putting the ball deep for Harrison, Harrison really hasn't had great field position in this game. Definitely a factor.
So Emery now is ready to go, just waits for the official signal. He gets it. Again, 3 minutes and 12 seconds left in the first half. We do Greyhounds leading Lafayette Harrison 21-7. A good kick by Emery Sievert down the right side. It's going to be fielded at the 6 yard line, or up to the 10, 15 to the right side of the field at the 20. Got some open field, 25, 30, 35, 40. Brought down by Emery Sievert at the 45 yard line where he rips him out of bounds and nearly takes off the uniform of Bain as he brought that ball up, 35 yards.
And just as we mentioned it, they're able to return a good one for about 40 yards. They'll have the ball at their own 46-yard line. Their first good field position of the game. With 3 minutes and 2 seconds, see if Harrison is going to try and put some more points on the board as they're down 14.
So the Raiders have the ball at their own 46-yard line, 1st and 10. Just over 3 minutes left in the first half. 2 wideouts right side, tight end left side. Split back formation. Coletta throws the ball away as he was under a lot of pressure. His intended receiver on that play,
Adam Tesh. I think he threw a spot there. He knew Adam Tesh's pattern was going to put him over the middle right there, so he was pressured, and he just threw that one to where nobody could intercept it, but Tesh might have been able to get to it.
So Lafayette huddles up, 2nd and 10 from their own 46-yard line. Carmel's defense has been excellent all ball game long. They did give up 1 big play, though, allowing the Raiders to score that touchdown. 2 wide out set. Man comes in motion out to the right side. They give the ball to Tesh. Tesh up the middle. Rather, going to fall forward for a pickup of 1. And as the clock ticks to under 3 minutes now left in the ball game, or rather in the first half.
Carmel's defense playing well that time against the run, really the whole game, holding Harrison to under 20 yards rushing in the first half. Although Harrison has thrown for 119 yards, big plays, providing the touchdown for Harrison, a 70-yard touchdown reception from Baines, their wide receiver.
3rd and 8 facing Lafayette. Harrison is a on the line of scrimmage, 2 wideouts right side, another one on the left. I formation. Bain comes in motion from the right, all the way to the left now. As Coletta fakes several handoffs, rolls out right side under a bit of pressure, dumps the ball off to Tesh. Tesh got the first down into Carmel territory at the 41-yard line.
That was a relief by Cox, their fullback, who was blocking. He released out there. Carmel just didn't account for him quick enough, and Coletta did a nice job of reading it in getting the first down.
And was Cox on the reception. They're starting fullback, not Tesh. As Tesh and Cox line up in the I formation, Bain on the left side, another wide out on the far right. Whitman's the tight end on the left. Coletta takes the snap, drops straight back, hit as he's thrown by Hammer, throws downfield to Whitman. Whitman gets a hand on the ball, couldn't reel it in though, so they'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Good coverage by Ben Holden, running right in front of the intended receiver, not allowing him to get to that ball.
So again, 2nd down and 10. As the Greyhounds are trying to stop Lafayette Harrison's drive here late in the first half. Minute 50 remaining. They are in Carmel territory at the Greyhounds' 46-yard line. They throw 2 wideouts on the right side of the field. The ball's positioned on the right hash mark, split back formation. Bain comes in motion from the right to the left. Whitlock moves out to cover him. Coletta drops straight back to pass as he's thrown by Wagner. Throws into the open field. His intended receiver on that play was Adam Tesh. He overthrew Tesh. So that'll bring up now 3rd down and 10.
As you said, he was pressured by Wagner on the outside, and he was hit by Wagner after he threw. And as you did say, he was trying to hit Tesh cutting across the middle. That's the 12th time that Harrison has thrown the ball. They're throwing for 125 yards. So they're definitely a passing offense compared to the Greyhounds, 150 yards rushing.
So Coletta now has 2 wideouts. They're split up evenly, I formation. Coletta again dropping straight back as the entire Carmel defensive line was after him. The screenplay wasn't set up properly, and he wasn't able to complete that pass to Adam Tesh.
Supposed to be a few guys through on the screenplay, but the whole front of Carmel was in on that time, and he did a good job of getting that one away, or else he might have been sacked.
So the Greyhounds now forced Lafayette Harrison into a 4th down and 10 situation. With 1:41 left, it looks like they're going to go ahead and punt, and they do go ahead and send their punter into the ball game. Set the punt is Adam Tesh, the tailback. Polk standing at his 10-yard line. It's a fake punt to the fullback at the 40, 45, falls forward close to the 30-yard line. This is going to be real close to a first down. He fell forward actually close to the 31. They needed to get to the 31. Looks like the official mark, though, is going to be at the 32, make up 32 and a half. So first down Greyhounds, they'll take over from there. As just about ready to say, they might want to be careful of the fake here. They didn't have much to lose on that play.
Brought down by Eric Hedegaard, and Todd Wright doing a good job of reacting to the fake punt and coming up and stopping it. There is an injured Harrison player on the field. So with that, we'd like to remind you that CHTV Channel 21 is required to pay a TV rights fee to IHSAA in order to broadcast any playoff game. Anyone interested in underwriting this fee to make the tape delayed broadcast posable, please contact the Carmel High School Broadcast Department. As the injured player is walking off on his own power, always good to see that.
Now it's Brian Keller, the injured Raider, who is favoring his right ankle, but to get under his own power. So Carmel with 1:35 left. They have the ball on their own 33-yard line. They're going to line up with 2 wideouts on the right, split back formation. Meek sets. Takes the handoff, then gives it to Polk. Polk on the counter. Polk gets back to the line of scrimmage and falls forward for maybe a couple feet on the play.
So the Greyhounds, with a lead, running the ball, it's been their strong suit this game so far. Probably not looking to give us any silly mistakes on first down.
Carmel up 21-7 here with now just 1 minute and 10 seconds left in the first half. May elect just to sit on this lead and take it into halftime. And they're going to line up with Baird and Trissler on the right side. Peening tight end left side. Split back formation from the 34-yard line. 2nd down and 9. Meek rolls out right side. He looks way downfield. Dumps the ball off to Trissler. Trissler's hit before the ball gets to him. And no penalty flag is thrown, as Trissler couldn't hang on to the ball due to the coverage by the Raiders. And I guess if you can get away with it, then why not?
That type of play is all timing, and the officials said that he was there after the ball touched his hands. So Meek is now 4 for 7 Carmel has 77 yards passing in the first half.
So I formation, wide out left side, double tight end set. Meek gives the ball to Peen again on that end around. It's a 40, 45, knocked down close to the 50-yard line. A good tackle in the open field there by Bain, who goes both ways for the Raiders. The clock will stop with 41.1 seconds left in the first half of play. Your Greyhounds up 21-7.
That's the second time we've seen that run by Carmel successfully. 14 yards on the play for Aaron Peening.
Tristler right side against double tight end set, I formation. Ball's on Carmel's 48-yard line. Meek takes the ball to Polk, drops back to pass. He's hit as he's thrown, gives it to Bertelli. Bertelli makes a reception at the 34-yard line. Now 20.5 seconds left. First and 10 Greyhounds as they're in their no-huddle offense. I formation, Tristler right side. Carmel set to go. They wait for the official signal. They get it. They snap the ball and spike it to stop the clock with 18 seconds. 2 more seconds to run off the clock. It'll make it 16.4 left now in the first half.
So Carmel at 2 straight plays in a row have 31 yards passing in 2 plays, and now have 167 yards passing with the pass play to Bertelli.
So second down and 10 now after the spike by Meek. As the ball's positioned on the Raiders' 33-yard line, 1 back set, 4 wideouts. For your Greyhounds, the Whaling is that 1 back set. Meek drops straight back, looks left, under a little bit of pressure, throws the ball to Baird. Baird couldn't hang on to the ball, was thrown at about his knees. They'll stop the clock with 11.7 seconds left.
With that, I'd like to correct myself on the previous statement. I said Carmel had 167 yards passing. Carmel has 91 yards passing and 167 yards rushing. I apologize for that statistical mix-up.
So Carmel, 11.7 seconds left. Probably got about 2 more shots into the end zone is what they're going to need to do. As they're going to line up with Tristler Feldman on the right. Abels and Baird, I believe, on the left side. William, the lone man in the backfield. Meek drops straight back, looks right. Throws long down the field to Tristler or Feldman. It's just a pile up in the end zone. It's overthrew everyone in that corner with 5.1 seconds left. Third down and 10. As Carmel has time for 1 more shot into the end zone.
With 5.1 seconds left, you're right, they do have 1 more shot. They do lead by 14 points, but I'm sure they'd like to get as many points as they can in the first half.
So Meek huddles up. Let's see what they decide to do. As Abels, Peening, Tristler, Baird, and Feldman. No, Baird now comes back out of the ball game, and there's all kinds of confusion as Carmel calls the timeout. So with that timeout, we'll take a 60-second booster break. That's 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Timeout on the field.
In this first sectional matchup against Lafayette Harrison here at Carmel Stadium.
Our thanks go out to the following Greyhound boosters: Dan and Sharon Hansman and family, Dave and Mimi Harden, Steve and Mary Harlow, Roger, Paula, and Ryan Harper, Dr. and Mrs. Robert D. Hartman, Jerry and Marcia Harvey and family, Chad and Judy Hastings, Jerry E. Hay, Tom and Mary Linda Hay, Don Hayes family, Mr. and Mrs. Donald Heck, Joe, Sharon, and Laura Hine, Nick, Diana, and Amy Hine, the Heitholt family, John and Rosemary Hensel, Troy and Joanne Herman, Rick, Nancy, Amy, and Matthew Heplinger, Tony, Liz, Lisa, and Allie Hayworth. If you would like to be a Greyhound booster, please send your check or money order to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032, and your name will be added to this list.
Hello, this is Kevin Russell alongside Derek Harding. Due to some technical problems, we missed that last play where Meek connected to Abels in the end zone. Abels was irate that the official called him out of bounds. He thought he had a foot in. He very well might have, but at any rate, the official said no go on the touchdown. Your halftime score is 21-7. When we come back to the halftime show, Derek Harding had a chance to talk to Coach Belden earlier this week, and we will play that for you. But first, we will take a 2-minute booster break. That's 2 minutes on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Our thanks go out to the following WHJE Super Boosters. Butler Toyota. Butler Toyota is located at 96th and Keystone. Butler Toyota features a complete line of Toyota cars, vans, trucks, and Land Cruisers. For more information, contact Butler Toyota at 848-9600. That's 848-9600. And Steckley's Catering and Oak Hill Mansion. Oak Hill Mansion features banquet facilities for as few as 25 and as many as 500. For more information on Oak Hill Mansion, call 843-9850. That's 843-9850. And Catering by Steckley's, featuring experienced, problem-free service. Catering by Steckley's for your picnics, banquets, parties, or party planning. You can call Catering by Steckley's at 846-7308. That's 846-7308. Our thanks to these Super Boosters.
Hello and welcome back to Carmel Stadium. This is Kevin Rust alongside Derek Harding, where we are about ready to bring you the interview. Derek had a chance to talk to Coach Belden. Your halftime score is 21-7. Roll the interview.
I'm Derek Harding here alongside Coach Jim Belden of your Carmel Greyhounds. Coach Belden, congratulations on an excellent season, 7-1. What are your thoughts on this team and how do they compare with the two previous regional champions?
Well, Derek, thanks for your comments. And, this is an exciting team that's come out at the end of the year, similar to the last 2 years. Hopefully we're in a position. Of course, obviously it was a disappointing loss last week to Ben Davis.
Ladies and gentlemen, due to field conditions, the Marching Greyhounds will perform a concert version of their competition show. Tomorrow at 8:48 p.m., the band will compete for the state championship in Class A competition at the RCA Dome. The Marching Greyhounds have been a state finalist every year since they first began field show competition in 1985. This fall, the group has not finished lower than third in any state or Midwest competition, and has been named Grand Champion of 5 Invitationals. The group is under the direction of Field Commanders Chrissy Farrell and Andy Keller. Now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome in concert the 1996 Carmel Marching Greyhounds. Congratulations to the Marching Greyhounds on their 1996 season, and our best of luck tomorrow evening in their competition.
IHSAA is your community station. That means we give you the best news, weather, and high school sports. But we're also where the new rock hits first. So that means you get the newest rock and the best classic rock in town. So listen to WHJE, your new rock community edge.
Hello and welcome back to Carmel Stadium. We'll try this again. This is Kevin Rust alongside Derek Harding. Where your halftime scores 21-7. They put another 3 minutes on the halftime clock, so we got about 3 minutes left to go before Carmel will go back deep to return this kick. Both teams have taken the field. And again, we need to look for Lafayette Harrison, at least in my mind, is trying to establish a running game. Maybe even try Ryan Bain, their standout wide receiver, on some reverses or a little bit of trickery here to see if they can catch Carmel off guard and break open another big play.
Yeah, they definitely need to do that. And Carmel, besides the big play they lost to Bain, as you said, has played excellent defense. And Lafayette Harrison, I'm sure, talked it over at halftime. And if you're a Harrison fan, I'm sure you're hopeful that they figured out some way to penetrate the Carmel defense, which has played excellent in the first half.
And, of course, we are commenting on Carmel's excellent special teams play. Carmel's given up one touchdown return on a touchdown, and then in this ball game they gave up a 35-yard run back on a kick return. Those are the only two plays that I've seen Carmel's special teams struggle at really all season long, as them receivers put two into the end zone for touchbacks this ball game and one to the 1-yard line, which was brought up to the 15. So Carmel's special teams and kicking game and defense, as a lot of people say, are the keys to the games, and they've performed excellently all season long, and they've continued to do so here against Lafayette Harrison.
And on the defensive side of the ball, we've seen Carmel's defensive line in on a lot of tackles. And if the defensive line is in on a lot of tackles, that's where you're going to win it. Up front, getting the initial hits with the linemen, not allowing the running back to get out into the second layer into your linebacker core. As now we have about 44 seconds shown on the game clock before the kickoff. Carmel's receiving team is out on the field, and so is Harrison. So just momentarily we'll have the second half of this round one sectional matchup between Harrison and Carmel. Your Greyhounds on top 21-7.
I think a big concern for the Greyhounds was coming back after that Ben Davis defeat where they were handily put down, but I haven't really seen any signs of being upset by that at all. Like I said, bringing this game in, I think they've just shrugged it off. And it's one of those things that you're going to have to chalk up as a learning experience, I guess. And Carmel's performed excellently this ball game like they have all season. And we are now just about ready for the second half of play. The ball's teed up at the 40. David Bay, a backup quarterback, handles the kicking duties for the Raiders. It's a low line drive kick that lands at the 30, rolls to Polk at the 12. Polk picks it up 20, 25, 30, goes straight up the middle of the field, 35. Moves the pile to the 37-yard line, where his forward motion is finally stopped. So Carmel will take over now, 1st and 10 from their own 37-yard line.
So the Greyhounds, again, with good field position. The 5 drives they had in the first half, they had field position at the 47, the 40, the 40, the 46, and the 33. So really excellent field position for Carmel all night long.
As they come to the line of scrimmage with Tristler, the only wide out on the left, double tight end set, offset eye. Meek now looks on at the blitz shown. Polk gets the call. Polk brings it up past the 40 to the 42-yard line.
Good blocking again by Carmel's line. Finally, Polk was brought down by the secondary of Harrison, coming up and helping out the front 7 of the Harrison defense.
Carmel now with Abels on the right side, Feldman on the left. Willen and Polk in the eye. Peening comes in motion from the right to the left side now as sets as a tight end. A lot of movement on the defensive line. Meek takes the snap, hands off to Polk. Polk right side off tackle 45, 50, drags one person to the 46-yard line into Raiders territory. That'll be 1st down Greyhounds. Just a minute into the second half of play right now. Your Greyhounds lead 21-7 over the Lafayette Harrison Raiders.
On that play, Carmel pulled left guard Scott Kaminsky, the senior, to help out block for that Shannon Polk 1st down.
Tristler right side, Foss left side. Whalen and Polk in the eye. Meek gives the ball to Polk. Polk runs up the middle and is hit hard by a wall of Raiders defenders. He gets a 1.5 yards on the play, bringing up 2nd down and 9.
So a good job by Harrison's team that time, reacting to the run, brought down by their inside linebacker.
Carmel breaks their huddle and sends Baird out right side. Tristler left side. Peening's the tight end on the left. Again, it's an I formation. Now Whaling gets out of his 3-point stance, moves out in motion to the right side. It's an option. They're going to give to Polk. Polk at the 45, goes forward to the 44-yard line, goes out of bounds, and then is hit when he's out of bounds. No penalty flags thrown.
Brought down by Bob Munch, the linebacker for Harrison. That time really tough. Carmel, Harrison didn't fall for the option play that time. They had good containment on the left side, and Polk was lucky to get a couple yards on that play.
Carmel's used the option a limited amount of times this season, as we're seeing it more and more, though, this ball game, as the ball is in Lafayette Harrison territory at the 44-yard line. It's an I formation. Feldman and Sarah, the wideouts. Meek drops back to pass. He breaks one tackle. He's all the way back at his own 35-yard line. Throws the ball to a wide-open Polk at the 30, 25, 20, 2 men to beat, 10, 5, into the end zone. Touchdown, Greyhounds!
Great job by Travis Meek, breaking 2 potential sacks in the backfield, then finding the open man, Shannon Polk, who broke 3 tackles of his own, breaking 2 tackles as he was going to be sandwiched at the 5-yard line. He broke right through for the touchdown. What a play for Carmel. A quarterback scrambling from pressure, throwing to a Shannon Polk who was able to get open and help his quarterback. And what a run by Shannon Polk after the catch.
So 2 minutes into the third quarter of action at the 10:04 mark. Carmel goes up 27-7 after Meek threw the ball from his own 30-yard line to Shannon Polk. There was 2 or 3 wide receivers open around Shannon Polk. Shannon Polk just happened to have the ball land closest to him as Kyle Alonzo kicks this ball up and in to make it 28-7 in favor of the Greyhounds. He's been perfect on the day, 4 for 4 on the extra point attempts.
So a 44-yard touchdown pass for the Greyhounds. A big play coming up. Came through for the Greyhounds. And with that, they now have 146 yards passing to Lafayette Harrison's 157.
Polk has 3 touchdowns now in the ball game, 2 by rushing and 1 through the air. As Emery Sievert comes on to try to give this ball a boot. There's first kickoff of the second half.
An interesting statistical note, Carmel's offense had 16 first downs compared to Lafayette Harrison's 5. Definitely shows you the two offenses, how they fared in the game so far.
10 minutes and 4 seconds remaining in the third quarter of play, where your Greyhounds lead 28-7 over the Lafayette Harrison Raiders in this first sectional matchup. As Emery is about ready to go, and he gives it a boot. Nice high kick down the right side, though fielded it by an up back at the 15. Plays blown dead, penalty flags down in the backfield. Belden is irate. Probably another offsides penalty on the Greyhounds.
You're right, you say another. That they had one on the opening kickoff that brought them back for 5 yards, and here's another one for 5 yards. Although Carmel not doing bad, only 15 yards in penalties through 2 quarters and partway into a third.
And all of those penalties have been offsides, as Emery will now kick this ball from the 35. He had to do this on the opening kickoff, as Derek alluded to earlier, but Emery put it about 5 yards deep in the end zone. So he does have the capabilities to knock it in here from the 35, as he'll try to kick this ball again. Gives it a kick, low line drive kick, lands at the 25, rolls to 15, fielded by one of the men off to the right side, brought up to the 25, where Sam Morris backs him down to the 24-yard line. Morris had a line on him and just took him straight down.
Good open field tackle by Sam Morris, who was a little undersized on that play, taking him on by himself and bringing him down. So Lafayette Harrison, despite the penalty by Carmel, will start at their 27-yard line.
So 1st and 10, Lafayette Harrison. They come to the line of scrimmage in an I formation. Split wideouts. Tight end right side. Coletto has his tight end come in motion from the right to the left. Carmel, Joe Kohler showing blitz. Coletto drops back to pass, throws right side. Hizzy is thrown, and he underthrows his intended receiver. The pressure on the play there was applied by B.J. Hammer.
Carmel doing some shifting on the front of the line. They line up in a 4-3. Bring back Wagner, the right corner, into coverage, and bring Joe Kohler up on the line behind the left end, Billy Brown. Able to apply the pressure there, B.J. Hammer forcing Coletto to throw the bad pass.
Coletto is taking a beating today, was slow to get up after that play, but he remains in the Raider huddle. The ball is at their 27-yard line, 2nd down and 10. Split back formation. Bain left side, another wide out right side. Coletto fakes the handoff, rolls out right side. Penalty flags go down all over the place. He throws the ball across the middle. It's picked off by Joe Kohler at the 40-yard line. The Greyhounds will take over on downs if the penalty is not against the Greyhounds. And Chad Whitlock seems to think it's illegal procedure against the Raiders.
The tight end coming across the middle is a linebacker's responsibility, and Joe Kohler doing his job, able to get the interception as Coletto was pressured, and Joe Kohler with the linebacker interception covering the tight end well over the middle, and the penalty was waved off by the officials, so the Greyhounds will have first down at Lafayette Harrison's own 38-yard line.
So 1st and 10 now for the Greyhounds as Travis Meek comes into the ball game. After orchestrating a touchdown drive, the first possession for his offensive unit in the second half. 28-7, 9 minutes and 43 seconds left in the third quarter of play. Tristler and Feldman wideouts right side, split back formation. Williams about a yard behind Polk. Meek drops back to pass, rolls out right side, throws the ball to Tristler. Tristler couldn't hang on to the ball. Excellent pass coverage there by the linebacker for the Raiders, Bob Munich.
Bob Munich in on good coverage. That's all timing on that kind of play. Timing when the ball is going to hit the hands of the receivers. He did a good job of hitting the receiver right after the ball got there. That's going back to the Carmel interception. That's Carmel's 2nd interception on the game.
And that is Joe Kohler's 3rd interception on the season. He had 2 in one ball game, a homecoming ball game. As Faust and Baird out right side. The I formation. Carmel has the ball on the Raiders' 39-yard line. Meek gives the ball to Polk. Polk at the 40. Makes cutback move. 35 in the open field at the 30. 25 breaks the tackle up to the 20-yard line where he's finally brought down. 1st and 10 Greyhounds.
Carmel pulling the entire side of their left line. Scott Kaminsky and Grant Eccles coming over to help blocking on the play as Shannon Polk went just off guard on that play for a 1st down. A good run by Carmel and great blocking by the pulling left guard and left tackle of Carmel Greyhounds.
Well, the ball's going to be officially spotted at the 22-yard line, regardless of 1st and 10, as Feldman goes out left side, Abel's right side. Carmel's in the eye with the tight end on the left side in the form of Aaron Paining. Meek hands the ball off to Polk on the inside. Polk up to the 15, rumbles forward up to the 12-yard line. He's going to be close to a 1st down. And we'll see. He's going to be about a yard shy. A little bit more than a yard shy. Bringing up 2nd down.
With that run, Carmel now has 202 yards rushing. Carmel running the ball very well, as we heard in the halftime interview with Coach Belton. He likes to get the running game established, and he certainly has this game.
Well, the ball's up to the 13-yard line now of the Raiders. Carmel in an offset split-back formation. Trister left side, several fakes to give it to Polk on the counter at the 10. 5, he's almost in the end zone. He goes out of bounds at the 2-inch line. Can't get much closer than that without scoring. He fell out of bounds and he hit the pylon. And no official signal as Carmel wants a timeout. At the 8:27 mark, they lead 28-7.
Touchdown saving tackle by Andy Nielsen, the defensive guard for Lafayette Harrison Raiders. As Carmel's threatening with 8:27 left in the 1st half, a 1st and goal.
I guess Carmel doesn't call a timeout as they come into the line of scrimmage. The full house backfield. Hedegaard's in the middle of Roth and Polk. Meek gets set in the double tight end set. And hand the ball off to Hedegaard. Hedegaard goes over the right end spot, and he's in for the touchdown. So that's going to make it 34-7 at the 8:23 mark in the 3rd quarter of action here from Carmel Stadium.
So Shannon Polk and Eric Hedegaard with 2 touchdowns apiece, as you said, advance the score to 34-7 right now.
Kyle Alonzo, who's been 4 for 4 on the day, his point after attempts. And Aaron Peening is his long snapper, and Nick Blake, the backup junior quarterback, is his holder.
To attempt the conversion, Nick Blake the hold.
The snap from Peening's a good one. The hold, good. The kick is up, it's good, but the officials blow the whole thing dead as penalty flags come down all over the place as Kyle Alonzo picks up his tee and walks back to the 15-yard line.
That was a 70-yard, minute and 23 second touchdown drive for Carmel, capped off by a 1-yard run from Eric Hedegaard, his 2nd of the game.
So this will now become a 25-yard extra point attempt for Kyle Alonzo, as Kyle's going to spot it just beyond the 15-yard line where he puts down his tee. Snap from Aaron Peening's a good one. The hold is good. The kick is up and sneaks right over the crossbar. That'll make it 35-7 at the 8:23 mark in the 3rd quarter of play. Where your Greyhounds lead.
So Carmel with the early score in the 3rd period. That's 49 yards on 7 plays. Total time possession, a minute and 23 seconds. As your Greyhounds are starting to inch closer and closer away from Lafayette Harrison, making it tougher for Harrison to come back in this game.
And receiver back on the field. As Lafayette Harrison now needs 4 touchdowns and 4 extra point conversions to tie the Greyhounds in the final half of play. But again, there's still 8 minutes and 23 seconds left in the 3rd quarter of action. So plenty of time for Lafayette Harrison, although it'd be an amazing feat at this point. But they do have the big play potential, as we've seen earlier in the 1st half. And receiver now. Gets this kick away cleanly with no penalty flags. It's going to land at the 20-yard line, bounce to the 12, field it up at the 25, 30, runs over somebody at the 35. I didn't catch a number on who made that run back. And it was Travis Meyer, one of the up backs, who drilled one of Carmel's kick coverage men.
That's the second time Lafayette Harrison has had a good return off the Carmel kickoff. The team playing well, but 2 times tonight they've allowed a good gain. But Harrison will start at their own 37-yard line.
Split back formation, 2 wideouts left side. Bain comes in motion to the right side now. Coletto drops straight back to pass under some pressure from Todd Wright, who is virtually unblocked. Coletto gets rid of it and throws it out of bounds. His intended receiver was Bain, about 10 yards away from where the pass went out of bounds. Bringing up 2nd down and 10 now.
So really credit Todd Wright with that throwaway, applying good pressure, came through cleanly on a bull rush, was able to force him to throw it away, and that's a wasted first down for Lafayette Harrison, so a key play from Todd Wright.
Ball's on the Raiders' 39-yard line. Wideout left side. Bain, the wideout on the right. It's an I formation. Penalty flags go down before the snap of the ball. As Raiders had enough time, so it wasn't a delay game penalty.
Well, we've only had 5 penalties in this game so far. Really a clean game, and they're going to call encroachment on the.
They're offside.
Offside, yeah.
On Lafayette Harrison, so that'll move them back 5 yards, bringing up 2nd down and 15 now.
So Lafayette Harrison, with their 20th penalty yard, is going to back them up.
So the ball now on the 34-yard line, I formation. Wide out right side in the form of Bain, another one on the left. Coletto drops straight back to pass. He looks left, he's under a little bit of pressure, dumps it off to a safety valve in the flat there. His tailback, but he underthrew him, so that'll bring up now 3rd down and 15.
He was throwing for a test out in the flat, just overlet him a little bit as he was pressured. Maybe threw that one a little bit earlier than he wanted to.
Dash was open and he had some room to run in the flat, but Coletto couldn't quite find him. And it is 3rd down and 15 from the 34-yard line of the Raiders, who trail the Greyhounds 35-7. The split back formation. 2 wideouts, they're split equally. Coletto rolls out right side, hit as he's thrown by Hammer. The pass is rather intercepted by Chad Whitlock. There's 2 players diving for that ball. Whitlock and one of the wideouts for the Raiders, Andy Bridge. And I guess Whitlock came away with that ball. I was waiting for the official signal, so the Greyhounds will take over on possessions will take over on downs from the Raiders' 45-yard line.
That's Carmel's 3rd interception of the game and the 2nd one in this 3rd period.
That is Chad Whitlock's 3rd interception on the season from that right corner spot. As Meek comes to the line now with the wideout on the right side and an I formation in the backfield. They fake the pitch, give to Whaling off left tackle. Whaling almost forward to about the 42-yard line.
Lafayette Harrison came in on a blitz that time, so Whaling doing a good job getting the 3 yards on that play.
A good first down play for the Greyhounds. As John Serra enters the ball game, we haven't seen much of him in the 2nd half. And he's their big play man. Carmel hasn't needed very many big plays here, up 35-7. Regardless, Serra moves out right side. It's an I formation. Bertelli and Peening are both in the ball game. Meek pitches to Polk.
Photography that had been made previously by professional photographers. You didn't have to know the technology in order.
They'll make it 1st down Greyhounds.
Polk did a good job. The cutback able to get the 1st down.
Left in the 3rd quarter of action. And that's the Greyhounds with an I formation. Double tight end set. Trissler off to the left side. Meek barks out the signal, takes the snap, fakes to Polk, rather gives to Polk. Polk gets up to the 30-yard line. Pick up of a couple on the play. That'll bring up 2nd down and 8.
Polk was hit on that play by Tyler Gibb, the DB for Harrison Raiders. Hit by the first man he ran into, a good hole, but the DB coming up and making the play.
2nd and 8 now as Foss comes out left side. Carmel's going to line up in an I, get a double tight end set. Peeney's on the right, Bertelli's on the left. Neat guys, Lafayette Harrison fakes the pitch to Polk, then gives it to Whaling on the counter. Whaling rumbles forward close to the 20-yard line, and it looks like it's going to be nearly a first down. They needed to get to the 22-yard line, and that's about where the official's standing.
On that play, Josh Trissler was out there lead blocking for Whaling. You like to see that, a receiver out there throwing some blocks.
For his fullback, no less, as they're going to call it 3rd down and about half a yard. Facing the Greyhounds, now under 6 minutes to go, 5 minutes and 45 seconds left in the 3rd quarter of play, as Kyle Lonzo is out right side in that double tight end set. They hand the ball to Polk. Polk up the middle. He's got a hole on that left guard spot. Falls forward to the 18-yard line. That's good for a first down.
Good hole by the Carmel line. Polk was unfortunately tripped up by a Harrison defender, else he would have had a lot more on that.
But the good news, 1st and 10.
That's Carmel's 21st first down. I'm sorry, 20th first down of the game.
As Bertelli comes out of the ball game, and Faust and Barrett are now in. Faust is on the right, Barrett on the left. Peen's a tight end on the right. I formation, Whaling and Polk. Meek takes the snaps, gives the ball to Polk. Polk left side off tackle at the 10. He's at the 5. Nobody could even catch him as he walks in nearly untouched to the end zone. That's going to make the score 41-7 now, as Kyle Lonzo will come on to attempt the extra point.
Good block on the play by Scott Kaminsky, Grant Eccles, and Logan Hughes. Logan Hughes, the guard on the right side that pulled on that play, and Scott Kaminsky and Grant Eccles, the left guard and tackle on that side, applied the great hole for Shannon Polk to run through on that touchdown run.
That's the 5:09 mark of the 3rd quarter. Greyhounds lead 41-7. Kyle Lonzo in to attempt the extra point. Nick Blake is holder. Aaron Peeney, the long snapper. The snap from Peeney is a good one. The hold is good. The kick is up and just wide left. So Kyle Lonzo misses his first point after attempt at the ball game. He was 4 for 5 thus far.
So with that, Carmel caps off a 2-minute, 51-second drive, capped off by an 18-yard touchdown run by Shannon Polk. We'd like to remind you that CHTV Channel 21 is required to pay a TV rights fee to the Indiana High School Athletic Association in order to broadcast any playoff game. Anyone interested in underwriting this fee to make the tape-delayed broadcast possible should contact the Carmel High School Broadcast Department.
Emory Seaver now back in the ball game. Emory has probably seen some of the most playing time out of these guys as Carmel's up 41-7. Seaver gives it a boot. Nice high kick. It's still down the right side of the field. Field at the half-yard line, brought up to the 10. 15 around the right side at the 20. Got a hold 25, 30, cuts back to the left side. Sam Morris brings him down, though, at the 32-yard line.
Another good return from Lafayette Harrison. 2 good returns in a row. And you mentioned how much playing time Seifert is saying. In the first half, he even was called in to make a touchdown-saving tackle on a return.
Sam Morris, although Seifert did have to make that one tackle, Sam Morris has made nearly all the special teams tackle, picking up 4 or 5 this evening. He's played an excellent special teams and defensive ball game as he remains in to cover his cornerback spot. 2 wideouts, split back formation. Coletto hands the ball off to his fullback Cox. Cox doesn't find much, but about 6 or 7 Carmel defenders as he's going to lose 2 on the play.
Hit immediately by B.J. Hammer and Todd Wright, the nose guard and right defensive tackle for Carmel, getting in their gaps and tackling them right away, not allowing him any room to run at all. And Carmel's run defense has been excellent, holding Lafayette Harrison to 20 yards rushing.
So Coletto now comes to the line of scrimmage. An I formation, 2 wideouts right side, slot back on the left. Coletto, quick throw out to the flat to his tight end on the right side. And it's good for maybe a loss of 1 actually on that play. Threw the ball to Josh Whitman. off to the right.
Joe Kohler, the inside linebacker for Carmel, doing excellent coverage on the tight end, flowing with the tight end into the flat and making the tackle in the open field.
So Lafayette huddles up, trying to regroup, down 41-7 to the Greyhounds. Now 16 minutes left in the second half. Two wideouts left side, slot back right side. Double tight end set. Coletto's under a lot of pressure, and Hammer brings him down hard at about the 21-yard line. So Coletto goes down with the sack.
Carmel's been pressuring him all night and finally brings him down with the sack there in the third quarter. And this is going to make it, Lafayette Harrison's going 3 and out here with 3:32 left in the third quarter, and they are down 41-7, as you said earlier.
Shannon Polk standing about his 45-yard line to return Tesch's punt. Tesch is at the 10-yard line. Carmel may have to watch the fakes, down 41-7. They don't have, well, no. Tesch is going to punt this ball in, and what a punt it is as Polk fields it over his shoulder at the 35, slips in the middle of the field, cuts back up to the 35 now, all the way around the right side to 40, 45, he's in the open field, 50, 45, he's got the blocking, 45, 30, 25, spin move, and he's brought down the 24-yard line.
A 40-yard punt return for Shannon Polk as he made that punt reception while he was still in stride over his shoulder and then turned around and made that 40-yard punt return. What a job by Shannon Polk.
Boy, I tell you, sometimes I think it might just be better for these teams to run the ball on fourth down or go for it on fourth down. You got a better chance of getting it than trying to stop Shannon Polk on these punt returns. He is phenomenal.
I believe that's Shannon Polk's longest punt return of the season. It ties it. His longest is 41 yards.
So Meek now comes to the line of scrimmage. There's an I formation. Feldman, the only wide receiver, double tight end set. Pertelli's on the left. Peening's on the right. Meek sets, takes the snap, takes the pitch, gives it to Whaling. Whaling runs over several people. No, Whaling doesn't have the ball. That was a quarterback keeper, I believe, around that left end. Pickup of 2 on the play. That was an excellent fake there to Whaling, as Meek has faked me out on several occasions this season.
And you're not the only one. I can hear in my other ear some other people in the press box talking about it. That was an excellent fake by Meek.
So now 2.5 minutes left in the third quarter of play, where your Greyhounds lead 41-7, as they have dominated this game from the opening kickoff when Hammer receiver put it 5 yards deep in the end zone. As Foss comes out right side, Baird left side. It's an I formation. Peeney tight end right side. Meek gives the ball right up the middle to Roth. Roth is going to get back to about the 21, pickup of 2 on the play.
And with that 2 yards, Carmel now has 251 yards rushing in this game. Definitely a key that they didn't have last week against Ben Davis.
Feldman, Pertelli, and Abels all come into the ball game. As Carmel comes to the line with Whaling, the only man in the backfield. Pertelli comes in motion to the right side as a slot back. Feldman right side. Meek drops back to pass, throws right side to Pertelli, where the pass is complete the 15-yard line, and he falls out of bounds. He's caught 2 passes this ball game. That's first down Greyhounds.
Pertelli with the excellent reception, a good pass by Meek, and able to make the reception over by the sideline, as you say. And Carmel's driving again with their 22nd first down of the game.
So the ball's on the Raiders' 15-yard line. They're up 41-7. Minute and a half left in the third quarter of play. Here from Carmel High School Stadium, as Foss and Roth check back into the ball game. Foss comes out right side. Roth and Whaling in the I. Meek gets set. Takes the snap, takes the pitch, gives it to Whaling on the counter. Whaling goes over the left guard, now back over to the right guard. Just about broke that play as he made it up to the 11-yard line. Pick up a 4 on the play as he was 1 man away from breaking that wide open.
Jeff Whaling doing some bruising running, at least if you're Lafayette Harrison front 7.
Whaling's very punishing with or without the ball, as he's one of the main reasons Carmel's gained 250-some yards. Blocking for Shannon Polk as now Roth is in the ball game. In the I formation, Abel's out to the right side. Under a minute now left in the third quarter. He takes a snap, hands the ball to Roth. Roth gets hit in the backfield, makes a spin move. He gets out of it. He makes it up to the 10-yard line, and Bain absolutely put him on his back at the 9-yard line. But regardless, Roth pops right back up and made a 1-yard gain out of a 5-yard loss.
The initial hit made in the backfield by Brett Marty, the inside linebacker, blitzing on the play for Lafayette Harrison. And you said Roth made a great spin move to bounce off that blitzing linebacker and get a 5-yard gain on the play. Or else he would have been brought down for about a 2-yard loss. So good running by Carmel's backup tailback in Roth.
So 3rd and 4, the Greyhounds are going to let the third quarter clock run out, and they'll switch fields or switch ends of the field, where they have the ball on the 9-yard line of the Raiders, where they're up 41-7. So with this timeout, we'll take a 60-second timeout. That's 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Our thanks go out to the following WHJE boosters: Mike and Marcia Wozniak, account representative for Waddell and Reed, Mark Light, Kathy, Bobby, and Joey Smith, Rick Rice, Bruce and Pam Schilt, Dion, Terry, Shannon Polk, Ryan McDaniel, Billy and Bonnie Metzger, Barbara Miller, Hanson Heiseong, Ed, Jan, Danielle, and Chris Gross, Stu Hancock, Alan and Ann Hendrickson, Bud and Donna Edwards, Thomas Berman, Steve and Gina Chassie, Dave, Barbara, and Todd Byerling. If you'd like to be a Greyhound booster, send your check or money order for $25 to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032, and your name will be added to this list.
Hello, this is Kevin Rust alongside Derek Harding, where there's only 12 minutes left in this sectional matchup between the Carmel Greyhounds and the Lafayette Harrison Raiders. The Greyhounds lead 41-7, and they have possession of the ball at the Raiders' 9-yard line. It's 3rd down and 4 for the start of the 4th quarter.
So Carmel's threatening, as you said, at the 9-yard line of Lafayette Harrison, up 41-7. They're up by a good margin here, and every score they make puts them away further. And Carmel's running game has just run all over Lafayette Harrison tonight, and that's been a big factor. If Lafayette Harrison's going to have to come up and stop the Greyhounds, they won't have any chance of getting some points on the board in this 4th quarter.
Carmel lines up in an I with a wide out right side. Double tight end set. Nick remains in the ball game as Carmel's quarterback. He hands the ball off to Peening on the end around 10-5. He sees the end zone. He leans into it. Touchdown, Greyhounds.
That's the 3rd or 4th time we've seen it. It's been successful every time, and here it's in for a touchdown. Aaron Peening with a touchdown, along with Shannon Polk's 2, and Eric Hedegaard also has 2.
Carmel's played a superb game. That's about all there is. Well, that's about all there is to it. As Kyle Alonzo's on to attempt the extra point. He's 4 for 5 on the ball game.
Carmel Greyhounds have come out here with a plan tonight, and they've executed perfectly against this Lafayette Harrison team.
Blake set to hold at the 10-yard line. Alonzo at the 12. Snap is good. Kick is up, and it splits the upright. That's going to make it 48-7 now at the 11:53 mark in the 4th quarter of play here, where your Greyhounds lead.
Your Greyhounds do lead with 254 yards rushing, 156 yards passing. They have 23 first downs, a staggering statistic against Lafayette Harrison, who has under 20 first downs. Carmel's offense definitely firing on all cylinders with over 150 yards passing and then over 250 yards running. Carmel's come into the playoffs strong against this Lafayette Harrison team, who they defeated last year in the sectional championship game and look to defeat this year.
So Emery Sievert receives some more PT, if you will, I guess. As in some of Carmel's games, I think you see them more playing time than the quarterback kicking the ball off. Carmel scores so frequently, it's been pretty much almost automatic every time they touch the ball this ball game. So Sievert's ball blows off the tee. He'll probably have to have somebody hold for him as he elects to just tee it up one more time. And not risk having someone get their finger knocked off. Sievert just waits for the official signal. He's had an excellent ball game kicking off. Carmel's kick return coverage has kind of lapsed here in the past couple kickoffs. Sievert gives it a nice strong boot right down the middle of the field. That's going to be 8 yards deep in the end zone. So that'll be a touchback. Emery Sievert must have found something this week to give his leg an extra boost, as he's been phenomenal as well.
And you mentioned the two previous times Lafayette Harrison has had good returns off Sievert kickoffs, and this time Sievert takes care of the coverage team himself. He just punts it into the end zone where Lafayette Harrison is forced to take a touchback.
So Lafayette Harrison's quarterback, Pat Coletto, to the line of scrimmage with an I formation, 2 wideouts left side. He's got his All-American tight end on the right. Takes the snap. He gives it to his tailback, Tesh on the delay. Tesh maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage as he's stopped by that right side of the Carmel defensive line.
He broke a few tackles, but finally brought down by a Carmel TNT defensive lineman.
So Lafayette Harrison huddles up. They're down 48-7 in favor of the Greyhounds. As they come to the line of scrimmage in an I formation, 2 wideouts left side. Coletto takes the snap, fakes it, little play action, rolls out left side. He's under some pressure. Might run with the ball. No, he dumps it off down the sideline to Baird. Baird at the 35, makes a move, gets into the open field at the 40, but he's finally brought down by one of Carmel's secondary at about the 39-yard line as he made several moves from the 35 up to the 40.
That's a 29-yard pass reception to Baird, and Baird's the one who broke open on that first touchdown pass reception in the first half for 70 yards. So he's definitely a threat for the Greyhound defense to look at.
1st and 10 now for Lafayette Harrison at the 39-yard line of the Raiders. 2 wideouts right side, a slot back left side, as there is so much movement on the offensive line and the wide receivers, the Lafayette Harrison, that every single penalty flag comes flying down. So that'll move them back 5 yards.
That's going to be the 4th penalty of the night on them, and the 25th penalty yard. Carmel has only 2 penalties on the night, so a much cleaner game compared to their last game against Ben Davis, where they had 95 penalty yards.
Carmel has just been very efficient, doing what they do best. The Lafayette Harrison has 2 wideouts right side. I formation. Coletto fakes some handoff. Rolls out right side. He's got some blockers. He dumps it off to his fullback Cox. Cox gets up to the 45-yard line, and then he's knocked out of bounds. Pick up of 10 on the play. Not good for a first down, though. It was 1st and 15. That'll make it 2nd down and 5.
Coletto had good pocket protection there. They pulled left guard Mike Taylor to come over and help contain the pocket as Coletto rolled out that time, and he did so and allowed Coletto the time to throw that 5-yard pass to his receiver.
So Lafayette Harrison breaks their huddle. Again, 10.5 minutes left in the ball game. They're down 48-7. That is, the Raiders are down 48-7. The Greyhounds have dominated this matchup. Coletto seems to be a bit of confusion in the offensive line. He's audibling. And then the penalty flags come down for a delay of game penalty, so that'll move him back another 5 yards, bringing up 2nd down and 10.
So 2 penalties in a row for Harrison is definitely hurting him. That time he looked like he saw something on the Greyhound defense and wanted to change it and just couldn't do it in time. So now it'll be 2nd rather, and 9 after he's brought back 5 yards.
Well, split wide outside formation, tight end right side. Coletto barks out the signals. He's audibling again. 3-step drop, looks left, throws left on the quick slant. His receiver can't hang on to the ball. The intended receiver on that play for the Raiders was Andy Bridge, the senior tight end.
Looked like the ball was thrown just a little bit behind him. He had to reach to his side to try and make that catch as he was sliding down on the ground. Couldn't do it, so it'll bring up 3rd down and 9 for the Lafayette Harrison Raiders, who find themselves down 48-7 in this first-round sectional matchup with 10:20 left in the game.
Coletto comes to the line with a split back formation behind him. 2 wideouts left side. Man comes in motion from the left to the right. Coletto drops straight back to pass. 5 guys in his face. The ball's almost picked off there as one of the linebackers for the Greyhounds was jumping. Got a hand on the ball. That was Ed Pucker, the senior nose guard. Excuse me, not a linebacker. He just had a linebacker's number. As that was another attempted screenplay that just didn't quite work.
Carmel had 2 defensive linemen in there on that play. One of them was applying the pressure, and Ed Pucker was floating around in the backfield and almost intercepted that one.
So that brings up 4th down and 9. Carmel has a new punt returner back there. I believe that's Colin Welch standing at the 30-yard line. It's a good snap. Kick gets away cleanly. Gets away cleanly anyway, off the side of the foot. He shanked that. It's going to be marked at the 47-yard line of the Greyhounds. Make that of the Raiders. So a 17-yard punt.
So with Carmel up 48-7, and they have 254 rushing yards, probably expect to see a lot more rushing yards added onto that, as I don't think they're going to pass it very much in this 4th quarter.
Now the Greyhounds are going to want to keep this clock moving. They need to get rid of 10 minutes and 9 seconds. They're up 48-7 in the sectional matchup. Between them and the Raiders of Harrison. Blake is now quarterbacking. Blake takes the snap, gives the ball to Whaling. Whaling up the middle. Whaling's going to fall forward for about 4 on the play. Check that. Make that Ian Ricketson on the carry, as he came in to give Jeff Whaling a break.
Ian Ricketson, the junior second-string fullback and special teamer for the Greyhounds. He's been in periodically through the season, as Carmel's been ahead against their opponents quite frequently this year.
Ball's at the 44-yard line of the Raiders, as Carmel again has excellent field position. Roth and Ricketson in the backfield. 1 wide receiver out on the left side. Blake sets now. Safety blitz. Blake gives the ball to Ricketson. Ricketson goes forward to about the 41-yard line. That's going to make it 4th down. And about 3 or 4 to go.
Ricketson brought down the play by Brett Marty, the senior linebacker for Lafayette Harrison, doing a good job filling his gap and making the tackle.
So the ball is again positioned at the 41 of the Raiders. Ricketson and Roth in the eye. Wide out right side. Blake takes the snap, pitches it to Roth. Roth to get some room to run. 40, 35, up to the 32-yard line, but he takes a hit. 1st down Greyhounds, though, as that stops the clock at 8:43.
For the key block on that play, Matt Brill opening the outside containment against the Lafayette Harrison Raiders defense. He's a junior tight end, seeing some time here tonight, backing up Aaron Peening and Pertelli.
Carmel huddles up. They come to the line of scrimmage with 2 wideouts in the form of Feldman and Faust on the right, another 2 wideouts on the left. Dykeman and, I believe, Abels on the far left. Roth the only man in the backfield. They give the ball to Roth right up the middle. Roth gets stood up right at the line of scrimmage, and he's dropped back several yards behind the original line of scrimmage, but they'll give him a pickup of 1 with his forward momentum.
Folks, the sophomore linebacker for Lafayette Harrison hit him right away and stopped him dead in his tracks. Good linebacker play for Lafayette Harrison. 2 plays in a row here against the Greyhounds.
Carmel comes to the line. And an eye with Lonzo out far right side. Ricketson and Roth remain in the backfield. Check that. Make that Ricketson and Martin now in the backfield. Blake is taking over at the quarterback position. The call goes to Martin. Martin makes it up to about the 30-yard line before he's knocked down.
Martin brought down on the play by Eddie Kelly, the senior defensive tackle for Lafayette Harrison, after getting about 2 yards on the play.
So the ball now at the 31-yard line of the Raiders. The ball's now at the 31-yard line of the Raiders, as that'll make it 3rd down and 8. Now it's Ricketson and Roth in a split-back formation, wide out far right side. Double tight end set. Blake takes the snap, takes several times, gives the ball off to someone up the middle as there was two pulling linemen off to the left, and the play went up to the middle to Roth. Roth made it to the 31, just right back to the line of scrimmage.
That play was confusing. You did a good job spotting the ball that time. I couldn't spot it because there was a play fake and some pulling guards, and somewhere in there Roth was able to get the ball and get it back to the original line of scrimmage.
6:42 now left in the ball game, where your Greyhounds lead 48-7 in the sectional matchup between them and the Lafayette Harrison Raiders. Carmel comes to the line of scrimmage. 4th down and 8. I formation. Wide out right side. Another one left side in the form of Abels. Blake is going to give the ball to Martin. Martin gets back to the 30 now this time. Maybe the 30 and a half. So at any rate, the Raiders will take over now in downs at their own territory at the 30-yard line.
They've got 6 minutes and 8 seconds left in the ball game
to score 41 points.
Well, I didn't say they were going to do it. I just said that's how much time there's left in the game. Your Carmel Greyhounds lead 48-7.
So Coletto comes into the ball game with the I formation. Ryan Bay now left side, played an excellent ball game this far. Dead ball foul, a dead ball foul, it's basketball. Dead ball as football came from the sidelines on a Carmel side, so the official takes care of that. Now the clock starts again, 6:08 and ticking. As Coletto takes the snap, spin move, then throws to his tight end across the middle at the 45, gets up to the 47. Josh Whitten there on the completion and the first down.
He's thrown to Whitman 6 times tonight. That time a fake play-action pass hit Whitman over the middle, who broke open, and they were able to get a first down with a quick pass play over the middle to Whitman.
1st and 10 now from the Raiders' own 46-yard line. As Carmel's defense check their wristbands in unison to get in their correct formation. It's an I formation, though. As they hand the ball off right up the middle, inside handoff brought up to Carmel's 44-yard line as Weintraub got knocked over there by the tailback, Adam Tesh.
Brendan Ackley on the tackle. The sophomore for Carmel.
So 1st and 10 now from the Greyhounds' 46-yard line. As the Raiders are starting to mount a little bit of drive, a little bit of some offensive production here, but a little bit too late with 5 minutes and 20 seconds left. The Greyhounds up 48-7. Quick throw over to Bate on the right side at the 40, 35. About gets his uniform ripped off, where he's knocked down finally at the 34-yard line. Ryan Bain has played an excellent ball game.
Chris Adams, the junior DB, in on the tackle.
And there's an injury down in the field. It's an official timeout. So with that timeout, we'll take a 60-second booster break. That's 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Our thanks go out to the following WHJE and Greyhound boosters: Randy, Becky, Jennifer, and Krista Foster, Stan and Marcia Isaac, Dr. R. Stephen Teagarden and family, Midas Muffler, Les and Ruth Miller, Scott, Betty, and Tracy Miller, Margene Miller, Larry and Nancy Miller, Barbara Miller, Dick, Nancy, Megan, and Kristen Miniman, Patrick, Robin, Kelly, Kevin Monahan, Joe, Clarice, Brian, and Jill Moon, Moore Appraisal Company, Tom and Louise Loretto, Ralph and Maxine Morgan, Judith and Bernard Morrell, Bob, Anita, and Andy Morris, Doug, Kathy, Susan, David, John, and Mary Catherine Mulder. If you would like to be a WHJE booster or Greyhound booster, send your check for $25 to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032.
Hello and welcome back to Carmel Stadium. This is Kevin Rust alongside Derek Harding. Your Carmel Greyhounds lead 48-7 in the sectional matchup. While we are on break, Cox ran the ball to the 25-yard line. Good for a first down for the Raiders. The injured player on the play, or rather on the play prior to that, was Matt Armington, who walked off under his own power. Finally got the wind knocked out of him as Coletto drops back, gives the ball to his tailback on the delay. He's up to the 20-yard line and close to a first down. Adam Tesh is going to get the first down, I think, with the spot. 4:17 now left in the ball game. And your Greyhounds up 48-7 here.
Brought down on the play by Chris Adams, the DB, and Christopher Long, the senior linebacker for your Greyhounds.
Lafayette Harrison comes to the line in I formation. Slot back left side. Got a wideout, rather two wideouts far to the right. Cleto drops back, dumps the ball off to Cox in the flat, makes that Tesh. Tesh gets up to the 25-yard line where he's swarmed under by 4 Carmel defenders. Pickup of half a yard on the play. That'll bring up 3rd down and 10.
Brought down by Ed Pucker and a host of other Carmel defenders, as you said. Ed Pucker is a senior defensive lineman for your Greyhounds. As there's now 3:35 left in the game.
And as well as at the 15-yard line of the Greyhounds. Coleto's finally getting some offensive production here out of his unit as he takes the snap, takes some handoff, rolls out right side, throws the ball into the quarter of the end zone to his tight end where it's almost picked off and then caught by the tight end, Josh Whitten. The ball was bounced off by one of Carmel's defensive backs. Derek, you're going to have to field this name for me.
The pass was tipped by Yoshitaka Nakanishi, the junior DB for your Carmel Greyhounds, and a great catch by the tight end for Lafayette Harrison.
Thank you, Derek. As that was one of those freak plays that the defensive back for the Greyhounds had an excellent chance at intercepting that ball. Just bounced straight up in the air, and Whitman was able to come down with it, so that'll make it 48-13. As under 10 seconds now on the game clock as the kicker was tying his shoe. Now he gets set. High snap. The kick is up. A little bit low, but it goes in. As that'll make it 48-14 now at the 3:17 mark in the final quarter of play.
Lafayette Harrison now has 173 yards passing and 32 yards rushing. We'd like to remind you that CHTV Channel 21 is required to pay a TV rights fee to the IHSAA in order to broadcast any playoff game. Anyone interested in underwriting this fee to make the tape-delayed broadcast possible should contact the Carmel High School Broadcast Department.
So Carmel's kick return coverage team comes into the ballgame. Or rather, their kick return team comes into the ballgame.
It's okay, Ken. We haven't seen him a whole lot this game.
We haven't seen him a whole lot.
Shannon Polk, though, returning that one punt for 40 yards, or 41 yards, tying his season longest.
We're not even going to get a chance to see Shannon Polk, as now David Martin's a deep man. Brian Wells is off to his left, and on the far right, I believe it's Matt Abels. And the kick from the 40-yard line, it's a low end-over-end kick fielded by Wells at the 20. 25, moves left side, 30. 35, gets outside of the 40, and he loses his footing and falls out of bounds at the 42-yard line.
So Carmel will have excellent field position to hopefully run the clock down with 3:12 left, leading Lafayette Harrison 48-14.
Unfortunately, the Greyhounds just can't sit on this. They're going to have to get a couple first downs, and in high school, that stops the clock for a little while, so Greyhounds will just have to move the ball, see if they can wind this game down.
They have 257 yards rushing in the game, and that...
Well, the Greyhounds had the wrong personnel in the ball game, and Nick Blake called a timeout. So at the 3:12 mark, where the Greyhounds lead 48-14 in this first sectional matchup over the Lafayette Harrison Raiders, we're going to take a 60-second booster break. That's 60 seconds on the voice of the Greyhounds.
Our thanks go out to the following Greyhound boosters: Judy and Mo Silverman, Jennifer and James Sinclair, Mr. and Mrs. Michael F. Smith, Ed and Renee Smith, Smith Funeral Home, the Souter family, Jim and Mary Spahn, Michael and Cheryl Spence, Sport Photo Buttons, Gary and Janet Stack, Richard and Cindy Steele, Sandy and Steve Steinkeller, Bob, Susan, Aaron, Bobby, and John Stevens, Bill and Dorothy Stidham, Barbara Story, Larry Strausberger and family, Rhonda and Tom Stroughton, Bob and Nancy Sweeney, Sam and Karen Tancredi, Randy and Kathy Taylor, Jim and Trudy Struck and Heather Tenbarge, Bob and Barb Threckeld, Bill and Mary Tierney, If you'd like to be a Greyhound booster, send your check or money order to the Greyhound Booster Club, 520 East Main Street, Carmel, Indiana, 46032, and your name will be added to this list.
Well, on that play, we missed a break. Jason Petit was one of Mark Roth's victims as Roth brought it up to the 49-yard line as Jason Petit got knocked straight on his back and right out of bounds. As it's going to be close to a first down, about a 9-yard pickup.
And Kevin and I have just learned that Carmel will play in Broad Ripple next week in their second-round sectional matchup.
So Carmel lines up in an eye. 2 wideouts, 1 left, 1 right. Blake takes a snap, gives the ball right up the middle to Martin. Martin's got the first down a little bit more into the Raiders' territory at the 44-yard line.
So Carmel, with their 25th first down, will keep their drive alive and hope to get another first down and continue to run the clock down with 2:55 left in this game.
Mike Carlson now checks into the ball game with Brian Wells. Carlson as the fullback, Wells as the tailback. 2 wideouts are split up evenly. Blake's got a tight end on the left side. Takes the snap, gives the ball to Wells. Wells cuts back right side. Nice move. Gets it up to the 40-yard line. Pick up a 5.
Carmel has great depth at their running back position. They've got Shannon Polk, Mark Roth, Wells, Ricketson at fullback, Whaling at fullback, Roth. They just got an assortment of running backs and fullbacks that they can put into the game.
And I had a chance to talk to a couple of the players several weeks ago about Brian Wells, and they think he is real good and has potential to get all kinds of honors in the county, and they think somebody said he's an All-American possibility, but he's only a sophomore, so we'll have to wait and see about that as there's 2 wideouts. They're split up evenly, I formation. Blake gives the ball to Martin at the 40. Spin move, close to the 35-yard line. We'll call it the 36, as Carmel now has 2 number 62s in the ball game on the offensive line. Brady Shirley's taking over the centering duties, and the other 62 is Dave Maestro, the sophomore guard. He lines up. Carmel out of the eye. 2 wideouts on the right side. Blake sets. He's up 48-14, a minute 15 left in the ball game now. They give the ball to Roth. Roth is a 35, works his way up to the 33-yard line, as now there's a minute 5 left. That's first down Greyhounds. Clock stops actually now at 1:06.
The clock will stop briefly, as you said, and then continue ticking once they get the chains in place.
So now just under a minute remaining in the ball game, where your Greyhounds lead 48-14 in the 4th period of play here. Carmel will win this first sectional matchup and then travel to Broad Ripple next Friday to take on that Broad Ripple High School team. They won their last game. Wells has the ball at the 30. He's got some open room, 20-25, and he's cut down at the 17-yard line. An excellent move there by Brian Wells as the clock stops with 36.6 seconds left in the ball game.
So that's going to seal it for Carmel. They can come out in their victory formation. And you mentioned they're playing Broad Ripple next week. They defeated Broad Ripple in the sectionals last year. So defeating Lafayette Harrison this week, who they defeated in the sectional championship game last year, and then facing Broad Ripple next week. 2 teams they've seen before.
Carmel comes to the line in that victory formation. They got 2 wideouts, split backfield about a yard behind Blake. Blake drops back, takes the knee, and that'll do it here from Carmel High School Stadium. So your final score is 48-14 in favor of your Carmel High School Greyhounds. We will travel to Broad Ripple next week to bring you the game. For Derek Harding, this is Kevin Rust. We're going to send it back to the station for all the best music. You've been listening to 91.3 WHJE.
I wanted to get to anywhere.